We are recording. And today is the 21st of June, 2024, 6:33 p.m. And we're going to go over some questions, straight into questions for some people who haven't exactly heard what it is that we're doing, this Deadman mode. And that way we can provide a general explanation to start before going into any more specific topics. Okay? So, German. My German friend who has the German voice. There was something I was going to say earlier that would have been funny for that, but I don't remember. But you are German, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What was your question?
Mm. Um, I'm wondering what we're doing over there at DMM.
Yeah. So we're going to have a lot of fun and we're going to make a lot of money. That's what we're going to do. We're not competing. So you generally understand that we're not trying to go for the prize money, but we will have fun and make a lot of money. And so the primary function or way that we're going to do that is through utilizing alt accounts, while our main account is able to move up in the brackets and be funded by the alt accounts, which will remain in the lower brackets while the main account goes up. And actually, you get to play with it without having to worry about the expenses of actually supplying that account in case you die. And then any additional money that you would have from that, you could be able to swap it if you want to and just keep playing the game. And the whole point of this methodology is to be able to reduce the investment on these alt accounts so that you don't have to provide utmost attention to them, but still make a decent amount of money that comes in from those alt accounts. And the more of those accounts that you'll have, the more money that you will also make. So if you have a monitor like I do, then you could put 4 on the screen and then just do a click every 30 seconds or whatever it is that you need to do and continue playing on your main, right? And so the more you reduce how much energy you invest into it and the more money you get, the more ROI or return on investment you'll have. And so that's the purpose of the alt accounts. And then you just play the game, you know, while we coordinate with other people in utilizing that strategy and methodology in select regions within the game and utilizing selective territories, which we will be able to take hold of because we have the numbers. Your friends will just be a world hop away if you needed backup, if it helps you in that circumstance, right? So that's the general idea without getting into detail. Does that help answer your question? If not, ask again. My microphone's working, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. One thing I do want to make sure of is that OBS
I'm
is
eating right now, so
recording
I'm
what I
just
want to
not talking.
record. Properties. It is recording
You're
what
not
I want
taking
to
his.
record. Cool.
You're not taking his mangoes, right?
Nah, man, I got tortilla chips.
Okay. All right.
Sorry. What is your name? I'm not a person who refers to people by race, but there was a joke that I wanted to make that I forgot what the joke was. But sorry, bro.
You
Wizard
talking about Wiz?
Wiz, yeah. Wizitex. You there?
I'm the. I have another question.
Did that answer your question?
I was muted.
Oh,
Yeah, oh,
okay.
yes, yes, yes. I was muted.
All right.
My second question is I don't understand it. How we want to swap the money. I
Got it.
don't have a clue. How does it works?
So the way that
And
swapping works,
especially
it's rather simple.
especially friends in with our clan, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're not swapping with our clan, we're swapping with another clan or another member of a overall RS community. And so the way that we'll go about doing that is basically a trust trade, but we will improve the safety of that by doing it with the community that is already the permanent Deadman community, right? So you join their server
I mean,
and you say, "I'd like to
RuneScape
swap."
Chronicles is also going to be hosting one as well. And they're a trusted community
Kemp,
because it's
Kemp
based
Q
on a
has as
YouTube
well.
channel. Yeah.
You can do that too in other places. That's fine. It's good. Always good to have more options. But basically, all you do is trade somebody inside of Deadman mode, which is a brand new server. You have your username with a brand new account, clean
Okay.
slate, and you progress your character there, and you trade money to any other character because everybody's tradable. It's not Iron Man mode. And you give them a mill, and if it's a 100x rate, you will meet them at the Grand Exchange, for example, and they will give you 100 mil in the normal
Okay.
game mode. So it's basically a trust trade, and you just probably go about it in a more trustworthy way by speaking to a dedicated community for that. And that's what is considered swapping. And Jagex likes that actually because it moves money in the economy. They're not discouraging it at all, and it's totally legal.
Yeah.
But
So it's
Wiz,
happening. So wise.
if you go on YouTube and look up RuneScape Chronicles, Kemp Q, he's a trusted member of the community. And just if you don't know anybody who would swap, you can always go through him. If you don't have anybody that you can, know is gonna obviously do it correctly. They have swapping as well for OSRS and RS3 as well, not just DMM.
Interesting.
Okay.
I saw somebody mention that it was banned in some other server. Not banned, but they stopped doing it
No, it's not.
for
No.
for OSRS to RS3.
Also, SparkMac Live as well as another, or not SparkMac Live.
Damn, it's crazy. The more you know.
Fucking what's it called? I have it. I'll find it here in a second. I'll let you know. Yeah, I mean,
OS Chronicles.
yeah. OS Chronicles. It's Kemp Q who owns that channel, but he made another one to like kind of do like an old school SparkMac Live kind of clip of the day type shit.
Okay, so they're both run by
So
KempQ.
I
Yeah.
have, if we move past the whole swapping and clarifying who's going to do what with swapping, I had a primary question for the intent behind. I mean, obviously the clan's intent is for one, like you said, to have fun. That's the MO, and two is to make money in the actual game, right, and trade it over.
Sure.
My thing is, I'm a player that's highly motivated to be competitive, and I would like to gain the support of others in that goal. I know I'm a relatively new clan member. Nobody really knows me that well, but I'm always down to be active when I can. I can give a very quick introduction. Um, I'm a U.S. citizen, right? Hail from America.
What
Plenty of plenty of different overseas locations, right? So right now I'm stationed in Germany, which is why I'm in this time zone, and it's late at night for me. But all that aside, I'm a dedicated OSRS player. I played for around 20 years, basically since the inception of the game. I played the last 4 to 5 seasons of DMM. I wasn't very competitive the first time around, obviously, like most players. But all that to say, I have around a good all-around knowledge of the game. 7 Iron Man accounts, 2 active hardcores, a group Iron Man, a main account.
Holy
Most of my
shit!
accounts have been over 2,200 total level, and like I said, DMM for me, I was top page for the first 2 days on Reborn.
The
I was YOLO
military didn't
mission. I
fire
actually
you?
nope.
With
I
how
always
much
take
time you
PTO
put
during.
into the game?
So I always take PTO. I actually took a whole month of leave just to play this DMM.
Fucking A, dude. Well,
But that's just about me.
thanks for the intro.
So my name is no problem. My name's Caleb, by the way. So just so you guys can refer to me as my actual name and not some random gamer tag that I have. But it's nice to meet everybody in the community. I know this is my first time really saying anything to anybody because I've been kind of busy at work catching up on everything. But
yeah, all good. Thanks for the introduction.
that's me.
So let me
But
just address that.
along with that,
Along with that,
you
you
want
had
sorry.
something else you wanted to add?
I was gonna like make sure I reiterated that point so it was very clear. But my main question was how can the clan drive that competitive mentality forward, not just in the respect of swapping, but also in allowing people to have a competitive angle if they do want to approach the finals? Because I know it's a very dicey with that, but
Yeah, so if we were to do it in a competitive way, which I would imagine the clan wouldn't want, then we would probably do it on the lowest bracket because all of our alts are going to be on the lowest bracket. If the
What is an
problem
alt?
the the problem is this clan is so casual and not up to speed with having consistent events that if I start trying to hold an event and I start giving my energy away so people can benefit, people leave the clan, right? And so we saw that today, and within the past, 24 hours of me sending out a message, hey, we're doing DMM, and hey, I invested 31 days into this plan, and hey, I'd love to have you, right? And so whatever it is that triggers people, whether it's my over dedication or whether it's the fact that I'm trying to get people involved and I'm pinging them multiple times without regard for whether they told me they're doing it or not, because I have to message everybody all over again, whatever it is, this clan does not have consistent events. It's been very informal the past year and a half or so, right? And so I have not had a consistent audience concerning having things be scheduled or organized this whole time. So to just get people to head in and try and say, yeah, we're going to compete when there's no coordination amongst us, we're not familiar with each other, we haven't had officially scheduled events, it's kind of extremely chaotic. So I don't think we would succeed in having a competitive edge at all if we were to try, unless we develop that collaborative mindset during the time that we have the 2 weeks together, likely on the lowest bracket, because
I think
some people won't be able to invest as much time as you taking a month off, right? And so
of course, yeah.
only
I
so
don't
many
expect
people
them
are going to
to.
choose to move up, and only so many people are going to take it seriously and cap out at that specific combat bracket. And for this tournament, as you know, each bracket has their own competition, and instead of it all being in one bracket, like all the way up to level 3 to 126. So that is my concern if we were to do that. And if we were to do it, then who knows? Maybe we make super crazy defense pures that survive the fog, and that's how we win, which is really stupid. A stupid way to win, but it is the way to win on the low bracket. You just survive the fog. You have high hit points, a dragon, a Din's bulwark or something, some crazy shit. High defense, high hit points. That's all you train, and then your brews heal you more.
Is there any way I can say something real quick?
Yeah, maybe that's not the winning plan. Say whatever you want. That's it.
Well, that's not what I was saying. It's for something completely different. So as you were saying, there's not necessarily an entire dedicated group to the competitive edge. Is there any way that we'd be able to possibly add like another channel of people who would be interested in going for the win and not necessarily separating, but having that as like an extra opportunity? And then, people that join that chat, like let's say the first day or whatnot, people that join that chat are able to go, hey, we're gonna get this done. And I mean, I get it's not gonna have like
Yeah.
different time zones and whatnot, right? That's gonna be a problem. But we could always type in chat like, hey, I've got this far. These are the B things that would help me out, and like everybody can kind of add to that and be like,
Yeah.
okay, well, hey,
We
I got that item for you, and then whenever you get on, I can get on and drop it off for you, and then hey, if you can, I need this or something like
so
that.
we will have stuff like that. So I'm gonna jump right in. We can do that. I won't be driving it though. So if you want to do that, it would be your own initiative to get people involved. I've put a lot of energy into trying to just get people involved. That's been a big deal.
No, that's understandable,
So,
and
but
obviously
here's
with
the
the time
next
zone
big
difference, that's
factor.
kind of hard as well.
We can do that, but it's my personal opinion that you can't rely on those people. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's understandable,
So
but with it being a
to
clan and
have them
needing help with
support
everything
you,
is kind of something you're gonna need as well.
absolutely. But to rely on them to support you to have a competitive edge to win is very top tier. That's why I'm saying we're not going for that. Out of the three major motivations, you have money, fun, and competition. I don't think we qualify for competition. We don't have really tremendously good PKers, you know?
Can I
And
cut in and say one more thing about my original point too? Because I think I want to clarify a little bit there.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a cutting edge as far as like future technology, something that's gonna automatically guarantee me a top 12, top 15, whatever. More so of just a group of people that are motivated enough to log into the max bracket on the day of the final and actually show up to be there with me, to give me a little bit more confidence to actually be out there. Because, as a solo DMM player, a lot of times what you lack is actually having the backing of a group of people to stick it out with you the entire duration of the DMM and show up in the finals. Or
Even if you lose.
yeah, even if you lose, and that's part of the fun too, right? Is even if you lose, you still were there during the finals. You still got to be a part of the event, and you didn't earn the money. Like me personally, I don't care about the real life money. It doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. I just want to be there to have, and that's why I joined the clan in the first place too. And I remember you sending out the recruitment messages and stuff, and I was like, that's pretty cool. I think I'll go with that and see what they're about. And so far, I've really enjoyed seeing what people have to say, enjoying the feedback, and how you've organized things. So to me, it was just like not necessarily allow me to have a good opportunity to win, more so just do we have a way of motivating people,
Yeah.
to um, get them to log in that day. And I mean that, like you said, that might just be a self-driven effort. That might be me getting a group of people in the chat every day and be like, hey, if you're in my time zone, if you're in the German time zone, can you log in with me at this time? We can do a group event like Cox or a TOA or something. And I can kind of form my own group of runners in the max bracket, and we can kind of go from there. But like, I just want to know what your input was as the clan
Yeah,
leader. That was
I'm
all.
not opposed to it.
Okay.
You are open
You
to
could,
do that. I give you permission. Just again, with the drawback of me being a person who wants to share awareness, I think the success rate is not high. And so you have to put in an investment for something that may help you reach closer to your goal, but may not
Yeah.
help you get the outcome you desire.
I mean, shoot, if it's me and Rot in the final, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna win. I will be on that screen on the OSRS live stream and on the Otoblock live stream, showing that I'm the number 2 competitor against Rot in that world. You know what I mean? Like if everybody
Yeah.
else dies and
Here's
our
my
names out there,
recommendation, bro. Because Rot is probably going to be on every bracket, and they're going to make ults for every bracket, and they're still going to win.
oh yeah, 100%,
So
100%.
here's my recommendation: is that you do, if you want to do our strategy for fun and money, you can, right? But if you really want to compete to have a winning chance, then you would probably find a community that wants that too, so that you have aligned goals. That would probably
So
be the best thing. Just saying.
the issue is with finding a community of that caliber, you don't get allowed in, right? Like I've been a part of Overtake before, and the issue with them is they have a lot of divisiveness, and they also have a lot of like issues with cheating, right? So they don't play by the book,
Right.
they don't play by the rules. I left that clan immediately. So what I was looking for is just a group of, again, motivated people who are willing to assist and be there when necessary to actually do content as a group, because obviously we all understand how like raids works, drop rates works, and like even with the increased drop rates, sometimes it's better to have 3 or 4
Don't
people.
put it all on me, man. I'm still don't know how some raids work.
Well, just
I'm just
simply
playing,
put, numbers equals value, right? So like the more people you have logged into a raid equals a boost to the drop rate, even if you don't necessarily, everybody doesn't
Except for
successfully
Cox, right?
complete it. Cox, you can boost it without having extra people now that they've updated it, but
Oh, they
the
updated
the
it?
simple fact is,
What I
yeah,
mean is
yeah.
if you die, you lose points for the whole team, right?
Oh, of course, there's a team point metric, but with the DMM, just having those extra numbers, as long as you have one person who survives, you still have a slight advantage over, a solo raid where you might die anyways. Also, doing a 3-man chambers run is slightly easier than doing a solo chambers run. It's just the way the mechanics work in Ulm. But there's additional factors to be had, and regardless, my main focus was just like carrying through that motivation and effort that we're basically talking about from the early stages, low level brackets and alts, all the way up to the max brackets. Is not just like leaving that behind, because I'm a very late game focused player, and I like to rush Slayer. I like to rush raids and like get those really big drops early, which could be swapped, could be converted to gold and moved over to my bank account on the other side.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I'm less interested in that.
Yeah. So if you were to do that, I'm just gonna say like I need you to spearhead that.
Mhm.
If you want to get other people involved, you'll have to invite people and get them involved, basically. And I
Okay,
might I might
perfect.
join you, but I know that I will not make it to the end, the competition, because I have to take a flight on the last couple days, so I won't be
Mhm.
able to accompany you for the final, unfortunately.
Well, at least you're being honest, and I appreciate that. I mean, what more can we expect? Like it is what it is. My family's coming during the middle of DMM too. As much as I took time off and wanted to play, my family's spending money to come see me. So I'm gonna definitely not be stuck to a computer the entire time and actually go out and enjoy the beautiful country of Germany. So it is what it is. That's part of it. But I do plan on rushing within the first week to get max brackets and raids and start getting a lot of sigils purchased.
Maybe you'll meet Torvesta here. Wiz attacks.
Oh hell no.
I have an idea, by the way, if you don't
What's up?
mind me.
I'm just saying, Wiz
Okay.
attacks looks like Torvesta. His photo,
He does.
and he's in Germany, right? So
It's hard to tell from the side. Isn't Torvesta English? He's British?
something like that. But I'm just saying, he looks like that guy from the side.
The fade be
My-
crispy.
I'm not sure if he lives in
My-
Germany. Sorry if I singled you out there. What was your question? Yeah, so by all means, you have permission to do that, okay? And you know the consequences, positive or negative.
my main idea was that, like, if we kind of had a poll on what was, like, if anybody wanted to do it competitively, we could always implement, like, pooling a little bit of the money together that we do make, and then out of the people specifically that want to go for competitive and fun edge, not people that obviously don't want to be involved in that. If you just want to make money, then you don't have to obviously input if you don't want to. But even if we all lose, like, even if we get that final loss, you know what I mean? You still have, like, oh, hey, we still made this amount of money out of just the people who want to play competitively. We can split it, and then we all still have, like, some sort of. It's kind of like a little bit of you have to put the money in to be a part of the competitive edge side, but then so it's like that's the investment, and let's say you don't show up unless you have, like, a valid reason, you know what I mean? If you want to play competitively, if that's what you're seeking as well, you implement that, and then if you don't show up, it's like, oh well, you don't get your split of what we, because we all were there, we competed. Obviously this would be separate from the other side, but it's kind of a thing to kind of lock in the investment, you know what I mean? Like a literal investment.
I agree with you there. Because, I mean, like, you have the short-term payoff of, like, hey, let's swap earlier on so we can get the max amount of money transferred back, because the rates only go down over time, as far as the
Yeah.
ratio for which money you're getting ROI and whatnot. But the fun only goes up normally in DMM. For some people, at least, such as myself, it goes up, not down. Some people, they don't like dying, so as soon as they die, it's like a brick wall. It's like, oh shit, I died and lost 80% of my items. I am no longer having fun. It's not about the rebuild for them. It's not about the getting back at the PK. It's more so about, like, I died, I quit, I give up. So, like, hopefully this not that consensus even with the people who are staying in the low level brackets that could be getting attacked by, like, a TB pure, like a dark bow pure, or like whatever else they have to offer. Because I know people build those kind of crazy insane counts within like 2 to 3 days, or stat Warhammer pures and things like that. So whatever the case is, I
I'm
just
just
hope people
curious,
can
though,
stay
how do
motivated.
they make the stat Warhammer pure if they can't go into the Warriors Guild and do the barrels on the head? Because the
So
total
what you normally do, right, is use the pump, blast furnace pump. So it's a protected area by big clans. They use the pump, or you can use XP lamps, right? So you can use XP lamps to force XP on, like if you do like the
so
Varrock finds,
disgusting.
things like that. It's stupid. I mean, it's a cheese build. It's basically the easiest form of
Blast
pure PKing.
furnace,
Is
huh?
yeah, there's a pump there.
So how many worlds do they take? Just one?
I mean, I don't know how many worlds they lock down, but I'm assuming they protect that for whoever they want to train, or either that or you have to pay the clan. Like they might have an arrangement to pay them just to be there, because I'm assuming that would be a highly sought after area if that's one of the few places that you can only train strength XP.
Right.
Like one of the few places that you can only train it without gaining HP or without gaining, attack or whatever else you're not trying to train.
Got it.
But they're also, I think, something interesting and nuanced about this new DMM is every time they do this, they re-update the sigils, and with the removal of the ninja sigil and then breaking it down into different combat triangles, that'll actually balance out a lot of the PvP focused styles of PKing.
Yeah.
To where, like, people, because normal NHing, it's like you want to hit people off prayer, you want to switch constantly to change your gear, hit them off prayer, and then back up DD and all that kind of stuff. With the removal of Ninja Sigil, it makes it like 3 times less likely to take damage a tick early, literally. So essentially, it's a lot easier to survive too. So I think coming from a PvP focus purely, it'll be a lot more friendly to newer people who have to deal with PKers because you're not getting a 3-tick Morgan Axe thrown at your head into a 4-tick VLS into a 4-tick Barrage. It's like, because that stuff we all know. I'm sure if you played DMM last season, that was like, you die like 3 hits if you're not paying attention. Like, it's instantaneous death. But now with the update to the sigils, it'll be a lot more forgiving because if they hit you with a 3-tick weapon, they only have one more 3-tick cycle to go through, and then it resets back to like a 5-tick or a 6-tick cycle without the ninja sigil. So, and in Rampage and aggression probably will remain somewhat similar. I can't remember what the update was to those. I think they nerfed it a little bit though.
But if you switch to that specific type, does the tick cycle have to go through 2 hits before it switches to a lower tick?
I think the mechanic works the exact same as normal, right? So if you have the, like, what is it called, the sigil of the gunslinger or whatever, the range one, as soon as you use a range attack, like a crossbow, let's say, that's 5-tick, it'll automatically reset whatever you have after that to a 4-tick, regardless of what style it is. Because as soon as you attack with range, it resets.
You're attacking with an Elder Maul.
Yeah.
Then you switch into a crossbow, but you have gunslinger. Does it do the Elder Maul's tick rate?
Yeah, that's a general mechanic.
Okay. So then
that's
that
normal
answers my question, is that it only gives once it actually fires the tick reduction, and then the next shot after for whatever weapon
will be reduced.
Even if you
switch.
exactly, because it
only
mimics the past hit.
Yep.
Because it imitates the fact that you are using this specific weapon.
Yeah, it only registers once you use the style of combat which the sigil is active for.
And
so like if you use the range, that's second attack.
Because it won't be
Exactly, because you can't just instantly hybrid across the tick cycles no matter what weapon style you're using. So like you can't go from a 4-tick VLS into a 4-tick Barrage. So it's a lot more forgiving for people who aren't familiar with curse switching, who don't have best gear.
In particular.
Certainly, yeah, because that's a lot of DPS that's underrated too, is magic when people are chugging brews and they're just getting hit by barrages for 20s and 30s constantly. So, I don't know. I figured I'd point that out too because a lot of
5-tick. So
yeah. Most of the big item spells are going to be 5 ticks. Even like volatile spec is on a 5-tick cycle, so if you use a volatile spec, it's not going to be instantaneous death afterwards as long as you eat it out. So.
All right, cool. Thanks for sharing.
But.
So what was the question that we just answered?
So it really was more so of like a kind of like a point just I was trying to make about being able to allow people to be a little more confident because of the fact that some people may have not read the posts about the sigil updates. They might remember how stupid it was dealing with the ninja sigil and how like broken and overpowered it was. So I just wanted to make a point.
Okay.
No, there was no question.
I think Peso
that's
said
what saying
something
was a point.
that you guys jumped on top of each other to talk about.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, adding in kind of like a pool of people who want to play competitive, like adding in something that would be lost if, like, they didn't show up for a valid reason. Like, if you go to the hospital or something, I'm not going to be like, oh, you know what I mean? You can't fucking, you don't get the split. You know what I mean?
Honest, I was listening to that. I didn't fully comprehend the idea of what you were sharing about that.
Basically, like, if we got a group of people together, and this would be obviously away from you because you said you weren't trying to organize that, but it would be kind of like a, okay, we want to play competitively. We're going to go ahead and say we will be there the last day. We're going to be in the max bracket, and then, kind of work with each other the entire time. And then, when it comes down to it, adding a little bit of money, whether it be 10, 15 mil or, whatever the agreed upon term is. And then if you don't show up, you don't get a split. Like, we pull the money together on like a trusted like account from the clan, and then at the end of if everybody shows up, instead of just being like, oh well, we lost the entire fucking thing, we didn't get anything out of it. And I mean, obviously you can still swap because it's not going to be an insane amount of money to where all of the money you swap is gone, but it's it's just a little bit to where it's kind of a protection for the people who want to play competitively and have vouched for that. And then let's say half the clan doesn't show up that said they wanted to play competitively. You know what I mean? Like, the people who did show up get that split because they put the effort in, same as everybody else. Put the monetary possession in as well as everybody else, but they showed up and participated. If that makes any sense. This would be, like I said, to be less to do with you since you said you don't want to have to deal with all that. But it was more of an idea.
The part that I'm confused on is it sounds like it's a prearranged investment. You pool it
Yeah.
together. You have the money days ahead of time, and you say, "Hey, you're locking it in. You're gonna lose this if you don't show up, and it'll go amongst all of us." And then the
Yeah.
split is for whatever you have at the end. But if you
Yeah.
die, you lose everything you have, basically.
No,
So
no, no. So we would swap that and then keep that on like an alt on the main game. Like let's say, it's 10 to 15 mil OS, not Deadman. Just a random spitball. It doesn't have to be anywhere near that, or even it could be more. It
the
just depends
reason
on
why
what
you're
the agreed
pooling
upon
the
price
money
is.
is to win the competition, no?
No, no. It's to be there to participate, to show up and actually have an opportunity to play, whether you win or lose. Right, but he was kind of saying
Oh, I
as
see.
like he was worried about people not showing up and not wanting to participate. But if we had people that wanted to play competitively, that said that that was their goal or one of their goals at least, and wanted to be in the last fight, he's saying that he going in solo a bunch, it's kind of hard to have no one there with him. So if that's something that people would want to be a part of, they would put money in to say, yeah, I'll be there. And then if you show up and you die within the first 10 seconds, it doesn't fucking matter, you were there. You know what I mean? You're still going to get a split of the money. But the people who don't show up, that don't participate, that said they were going to be there, that's sorry
But
about your luck. You know what I
every
mean?
time
We
you
were.
say split of the money, what specifically do you mean? A
A
split of
split
the
of the
money
money
of the
that we
prize
pulled
pool?
together. No, not of the prize pool of the like. Let's say we win.
Okay,
That's completely
it's
different. I
it's
don't know what
literally
would
it's
even.
it's literally skin in the game to back people's commitment of their word.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, if realistically, it's not going to be enough to where if you like, let's say you transfer, you
Yeah,
swap
isn't it
from Deadman to
technically?
OS like 200
Hold
mil,
on.
and it's only like 10 or 15 mil. At the end of the day, it doesn't really hurt you, but the people who
I
want to play
understand.
competitively have a little bit, more instead of just being like, oh well, 10 people said they wanted to show up, 2 people did. Well, those 2 people now get the 15 mil from everybody split. You know what I mean? Because nobody else showed up, and you said you would. It's kind of like just locking in, like you
So
said, your word.
so this money will go to main game, is what I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah. So
You're
we
you're
would we
doing
would
it all in the
trans.
main game, not in Deadman mode.
Well, yes and no, because like you would essentially you could swap it, you could get it from your main. It
Okay,
doesn't really
yeah,
matter
yeah,
how
I
you get
understand
the
what you're saying.
money. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you could, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be enough to where like if you didn't show up but you still swapped, that where it's going to take all of your swap or even more. Like it's not even be close to that. You know what I mean? Because if you swap a mil within the first day, you've already covered your buy-in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
So
If
it's
you
just an
swap a
idea.
mill,
It.
hey,
You
you're rich.
probably want to siphon off less resources from the
You're a
game than you
clan.
would like for the competition, anyways.
If you swap a mill,
It's just an idea.
boogles of money.
And not only that, with the buying in thing, right? Let's say 3 days in, you're like, yeah, I'll be there, right? So at that point, you can also tell, okay, well, if I need something or I need help here, I know that this person, since they're wanting to play competitively, they might be more active. They might have more intention to help me with something that I need and me the same. So you kind of like separate the people who want to play like that, who want to have help, you know,
Yeah,
and kind of have that to where you can fall back on them a little bit if you need to.
Hey,
Obviously, like you said, don't rely on them, but
hey, so can I interject real quick too?
yeah, sure, go ahead.
I think that's a fairly good system to have in place just to gauge the commitment of those who are saying they're committed. At the same time, if we're running this like separately as let's say like a second voice channel for people who I already know are going to be there to assist me, I would probably for me like let's say I was in charge of that, I would definitely be gauging the commitment of those people based on what they're doing to participate and help. So like, are you actively, raising your Slayer
Yeah,
rank? Are
yeah,
you actively
true.
participating in raids, or like, are you actually making it to the max bracket in time to do those kind of things?
Well,
Because
yeah, there would be requirements on it as well. Like, obviously, you couldn't say you want to play competitively in the bottom rank. Like, it would be we want to play competitively in the top rank. If you're
or
down with that, this is
let's
the
say like
channel.
logging in for at least 2 breaches a day throughout up until because I mean like
Yeah.
even if I'm spending time with my family, what I could
I
do
gotta
is
pee.
log in
Can you
on
hear
my
me?
phone. Oh, you good? I could log in on my phone, let's say, for example, and just like, hey, let's go hit this single breach real quick. I'm just gonna far cast from over here, and if I got a tele, can you help me hit off a person or freeze them and log or something? Whatever the
Right,
case.
right.
I don't think it necessarily requires a financial
Dude,
obligation to get that. Yo,
I don't understand what you guys meaning. For what we need the money?
This would be if you essentially if you like you were one of the people that's like I want to play competitively. If you don't want to play competitively, if you just want to, make money and have fun, if you don't want to even try to show up on the last day, you don't put in anything, right? There's no requirement to put in anything from just wanting to play the game. It's if you go out of your way to say I want to be there the last day, I want to help out, I want to try to have fun as a clan, that would be the requirement for the money. I mean, you don't have to. You can just show up if you want to, but it would be more of a thing that because obviously people might not want to play competitively and they get the last day and they're like, I'll log in and help out. You know what I mean? Like it's not saying, but at that point, if you logged in, I think we should, if we do take a monetary thing. I mean, I don't know if we would. It's just an idea. But if we do, the people who aren't involved, but at the same time show up, if obviously they're trying and not just, oh, I'm the lowest level in the max combat, I just want to be here to get the split. Obviously, at that point, you probably wouldn't get the effort that Ten was talking about.
Yeah, but my question is, I say to you, I want to go the way with you guys,
Yeah.
and I don't understand why I have to pay money for this.
You don't. You don't
it-
necessarily. That's
You don't. It's an idea. It doesn't mean that it's set in stone. It's not like we're not. We're just spitballing here.
okay. So
You mean like just to force the energy
I'm back.
Yeah,
with a
kinda.
plan, work together, and if someone, it's just if everyone stays together, everyone gets his money back.
Yeah,
But if
and
one
you could actually
leave
you could
or
end up
stuff like
getting
that,
more as well. Like, yeah, you could end up getting more too.
my thing is too. I don't want to discourage people from participation based on the fact that they don't want to like put money on their word. That's fine because I know some people might be like, I don't even know if I'm going to have time that day to show up or whatever because of personal responsibilities, family responsibilities,
True.
work responsibilities, travel, whatever the case may be. I don't want to like lock it behind like, oh well, you didn't give me the 15 mil, so you're not going to be able to be out there. I'd rather.
Well, yeah, and
and,
that's
like,
not what I was saying either. Like, obviously, if you want to
No,
show up, you can show
I
up. But it's more for the people that want to work together and
I
want
don't
to
want
try
there
to.
be any confusion regarding it because, like he said, that was his first question was like, why am I paying money to show up to be a part of this when I'm already a part
Right,
of the
and no, that's not. It's like
no,
okay,
you know I'm from Germany. I don't understand everything. That's
no, you're
I
good.
just generally asking,
Yeah.
because I thought I had missing something.
No, you're good.
No.
Did
I'm
I
not. I'm
miss
not
anything
saying
by taking a piss?
not for
No.
the most part. No, we were just
Yeah.
kind of reiterating and kind of furthering on the monetary contribution.
Clarifying.
Those guys want to get my last shirt.
We're trying to scam him for his 10 euros again.
Yeah, yeah, he wants to scam me about 10 euros.
I mean,
so like
go ahead.
my thing too is like I was saying, if we have our own little small group, and it might only be like 5-10 people or whatever, somebody who's interested in like, hey, I want to be in the max bracket, I want to participate in the final, and have a very very small chance at like, what if these other teams just happen to have less numbers than they suspect, or like we're on the right world on the right time and the right day, kind of thing, where it just happens to be a good scenario for us. I don't suspect we have more than a 1% chance at even surviving to see the final team, but there's still that small chance. And like the more people you have who are able to get good gear and are motivated and go out and do raids, get rigor, get augury, upgrade all of their equipment, the more likely it is you actually have a fighting chance in the final. Again, that's a very very long shot from a small clan and one that's not necessarily focused on the PvP element, but even people who are PVM focused can gain an advantage early on and use that to kind of like curve their edge further going forward and like lock down certain areas like the clan leader Requiem was talking about. We can use that to our advantage even if we have smaller numbers. If we're all isolated in certain areas doing certain content, let's say the desert for example, I might be doing TOA while somebody else is doing a different activity, but I could still leave the raid, teleport out, go back and know that we have numbers in the area and kind of use that to our advantage. So it's like regardless, I think there's a lot of things to think about with that, but my thing is I don't.
So we help each other out.
Yeah, just help.
It's a competitive team that earns like gear. Some guys are farming runes, let's say runes, and the competitive guys who are farming weapons and stuff like that need runes, and I gave it to them, and they help each other out.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not a PvP genius by any means. I'd get beat by a lot of NHers, but I have been practicing and polishing up since the last DMM because of the fact that that was the only area. That was the only area I was lacking in was PvP knowledge, PvP focus, and being able to actually like hold my own. I guess you could say, not necessarily have KO potential or be able to kill people, but DMM a lot of times is about outlasting and outsmarting your opponent. It's not necessarily about outclicking them. So it's just one of those things where again, like I like to get ahead early. I like to have a numbers advantage myself. And like the more people we have rating, the more people we have participating, the more motivated we'll be to actually do the content and you know get the drops, make the money, and then like put stuff in our depot box if we need to, and just builds a stronger base for us. Really, that's all it boils down to. But and
Yeah,
again,
I'm
that's
training PvP right now.
yeah. And again, like I'm gonna be hitting up LMS every day of the week now, just because I'm very motivated to kind of like carry that into DMM, and even if it's not something that is fully like available or aware, like I can provide to the team, it's still something I can have in my back pocket to help protect myself too while I'm getting these drops and trying to move forward with the team. But
Yeah, if you want, that's a good idea for everyone who looking this video. You can go to Last Man Standing and can train your PvP skills.
You have to do it in the middle of the day, U.S. time. Once it starts to get to the evening, bots show up and they don't fight back.
or you have the gigabots that one tick everything and just kill you instantly because they're one tick blood barrage and one tick DES.
They're shit bots. They leave one prayer on and they auto retaliate and they don't eat. Those bots.
No, I've seen
Yeah,
those. I'm aware of that. What I'm
that's
saying
a
is
lot of
it's-
those
And they run
motherfuckers.
into the
It's
fucking
either
corner.
Yeah,
because I've seen both.
two at the day. I was there. The first kill is always a bot, or almost every time. But after the first few kills, they are normal players, and you get some points. You can get some money out of it.
My point
Yeah,
is,
not always.
skill
Not always.
level-
Some of the times it's a
your
game full
s-
of bots.
your skill level will be determined based on the level of people that are actually playing the fucking game. If somebody with no skill level beats a bot, you're gonna face that person. So you need to be in ideal times for LMS to actually get the training
Yeah.
that you want.
I'm even down. I have a proposed solution for that too. We don't necessarily have to use LMS. We don't have to risk any gear. What we can do is have fun fights set up where we match gear in like either that PvP arena,
Yeah, you
or
can do
we
that.
can just go across the Edgeville ditch and just like not risk a lot of gear. Like I mean, we all trust each other. If I risk a gear, I'm going out in the wilderness. I'm going to give back to whoever I kill.
You
Like,
can go to Last Man Standing and go through the White Portal.
yeah, that too. Like
Yeah,
you
you
can.
can do
There's
whatever
plenty
you
of
want, yeah.
places. Yeah, there's plenty of ways we can practice and train each other. And I mean, like I feel like I'm not the best PvP qualified person, but I do know the concepts. Like I know prayer switch, gear switch, NHing, one ticking on specs and things like that. It's like there's a lot to learn, but it's mainly just practice because practice makes perfect at the end of the day. So the more we go out and actually train each other and fight each other, the more prepared we'll be when the time comes. When something
Not only
happens.
that, we could also go in like kind of not like crazy risk, but we could go with like smaller risk and go and like we could clan up against Venenatis or stuff like that and learn how to do stuff like that as well.
yeah.
Not like clan, not like 10 fucking people rushing Ven because that wouldn't really help anybody. But if we have like 3 or 4 people, we can always try to go out and maybe we see some PKers out there as well, and then we can learn like that as well.
Yeah.
Because then it also has a little bit of reward as well. But you don't risk, a mill.
Yeah, just bring a Bally, bring a freaking AGS, and then bring some freezes, a couple people with freezes, and like you can set up some pretty nice kills, especially Venenatis because of the spider mechanics.
Yeah.
How she puts the web out and they lose their prayer points. It's just like I've seen so many clips of that happening. But
Bro, I saw some dude fucking 1v4 an entire clan. I can't remember what YouTuber it was, but that shit was funnier than fuck.
yeah, I know there's a couple content creators who go do that for fun. They just bring an Ellie and like just literally just sit there with an Ellie and wait for people to die. It's pretty funny. But anyways, that's aside from the discussion. But I think we can
Yeah,
further
my bad.
discuss that later between ourselves and PMs and stuff, and then
Yeah.
come up with like, hey, let's go do a death match real quick, or let's go practice some PvP stuff.
Yeah, what were
I-
you saying about you called them shitbots at LMS? What are those?
So
They're
no, I
just
said
bots that don't fight back.
gigabots.
All they do is
So
auto
there's
attack.
shit bots, and then there's the polar opposite of shit bots that are like complete
Yeah.
script run. They one tick their entire gear, helmet takeoffs, boot takeoffs, like the whole 9 yards, and they're
And their
basically
praise are like perfect, right?
no, they are instantaneous. So as soon as you switch, it's not one tick delayed. It's instantaneous. So as soon as you switch to a
Okay.
crossbow prey range, so like
I
you
got
can
you.
barely even one tick them. It's hard on certain pings to even one tick them. So like I've
Okay.
noticed there's shit bots where you can get like 4 kills in 2 minutes by DDS specking them and running around. But then there's the gigabots where like they're bots because you look up their stats and they have like the bare minimum stats to play LMS and that's it. No
Yeah.
quest complete,
Yep.
none of that. And then their names are like Ronald77 Tree. And it's like, okay, well that's not a fucking person.
Okay.
That's obviously a robot. And they're gigabots. They're scripts. They
Bro,
either like some
somebody
kind of
might have
AI
that
script or
name, bro. What the fuck? Why are you shitting on
Do you
Yeah,
have
Robert. Yeah, don't be dissing on Robert, bro.
Robert Tree.
Does
thought it was
Jagex seem to be
Ronald.
working
Oh,
at
Ronald.
taking
Yeah.
any of them out, or no?
I mean, I don't think honestly, I don't really think Jagex cares about
No.
that LMS
They
bots
are,
wise
it's
because
just not. They do nukes every once in a while, I think.
yeah, they don't actively take that as their priority. It's more so of like,
Okay.
yeah, we're working on it, but they care more about bots that influence things in a worse way than that. But like LMS bots are definitely not their priority, that's for sure. As long
Still,
as
you
Okay,
do have the problem that bot detection is
honestly,
a
as
pretty
long
hard
as
topic.
as long as they keep
Yeah,
pushing out the
for
content
sure.
and updates they've been pushing out, I don't think anybody really cares too much about the bots. I mean, it is good practice even if you face a bot that's better than you, so it's fine.
Not
Oh, it's
only
good
that,
practice. If so, say I hop in there, someone new to LMS. You think being in matches with the bots is still going to be good practice for me?
For
Yeah.
general thing, it's muscle memory, right? So doing your own switches, like
You would-
practicing your own
Yeah.
switches,
Okay.
That's about the best
you're
you
not
can
gonna be
do. You,
yeah,
I
you're
mean,
not gonna be placed under pressure. Like you're not gonna be felt like, oh, I'm in danger, so I need to be worried. Like 'cause if you
Yeah.
go into the wilderness and a Maxer logs in on you and TBs you, like you're gonna feel the pressure. You know, they're gonna be hitting you with everything they have. A bot's just gonna sit there and like you get to practice prayer switching and gear switching and specking and stuff, but it's not gonna be realistic. And that's why I
Yeah.
recommend
Okay.
I think it.
Especially
But you
like-
can get your gear switches better
I think
and
you
press
Yeah, that's
switches.
true.
might be better off doing gear switches and no protection prayers and eating and learning how to do that on those bots. The
I
shit-
think
shit bots.
I think honestly, like you can also practice gear switching and eating and all that kind of stuff. Not the same way you would PvP. But like in certain raids, like if you're doing 4-way to 6-way switches, that's pretty decent too. Like I know raids
Yeah.
has kind of helped me out with that. Just
My
switching
point
between
is,
magic range.
They probably stay on the same attack style weapon, so they just bolt you. They're auto equipping a crossbow, and they don't change that with those shit bots. So you would change everything else around that, change your offensive weapon and your gear, as well as, trying to defend appropriately and eat appropriately by taking more damage than usual because you're not praying protection. And that is probably the best you could do with those bots. If you
I
really
think-
Hey,
wanted to
Risky.
get any benefit from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get more risky.
What's up?
with that being
Oh,
said
I
as well,
thought-
though, with them saying that they are the pretty bad bots, that is true. There's been a game that I've had that had literally 8 bots with me. Not going to talk about that, but
Damn.
with you saying that you were new to LMS, are you new to PKing
Yeah.
as well?
Yes.
Okay, so
That would be my reasoning for getting into LMS before DMM mode.
gotcha. The one thing I will say is I'm also new to PKing, so I'm not judging you by any means.
Okay.
The one thing I think everybody can agree on is even if it is horrible practice is still better than not practicing at all. So
Yeah, that's true.
even if it is your only output to not, like, you don't want to risk anything in the wild, like, even if you don't want to risk 100K, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's still better than doing nothing at all.
Well, yeah, because before you guys had gotten into, like, I guess the other options if LMS wasn't working out, I think you said dual arena and then, hopping over the gap in the wildy and whatnot.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. I just assumed that me hopping into LMS, I was just going to be getting my ass kicked left and right and not really. I figured I'd be struggling to learn that way because
Sometimes
of,
it does. Sometimes you do just get wiped. But I've always said,
Okay.
especially when playing any game, whether it be, RuneScape, Call of Duty, fucking AoE 4 or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like, if you think about it, the best way to learn to an extent
Practice.
is to get fucking shit on.
Yep.
Yeah, to
Because
judge,
then you'll
like
be like,
jump
oh,
into
well,
it. Yeah,
that
exactly.
person fucking killed me with this. I
Yep.
know that now. Now I have this in my back pocket that I know.
Yep.
Yeah,
Not
for some
necessarily.
reason, old school has always been different for me. Like Call of Duty, like PUBG, shit like that. I've always just done exactly what you just said. But with RuneScape, it's like I get that. You know how when you get Jad your first time and your adrenaline's just like fucking pumping.
Yep.
I get that when I'm in the wilderness, and I don't know if it goes back to when I was young and I would play this game, and like I was like scared of the fucking wilderness because I got scammed and shit.
So just look
But
at
I
it like
get that
this.
adrenaline, and then
Look at
it
people
makes
play
it
DMM all the time.
in what in Deadman mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm
The
I'm
whole
expecting
game
it, but
mode is about playing it under a completely different lens. The whole game has
yeah,
some inherent risk to it. And the fact that you can
If
strategize and try this thing versus the efficient thing with a chance of taking less risk and maybe not being spotted, or the chance of being
yeah.
spotted and overturning it, it makes it really fun.
Hey,
Really
Risky, I got
Oh
a
fun.
yeah,
question for you. Do you have
So
a
yeah. What's
lot
up?
of GP in the game, like the regular
Um,
game?
the regular game?
Yeah. Like, do you have a lot
Are
of?
you
Are you well off? Do you have a
RS3
decent?
or?
No, OSRS. No, we're not talking about RS3. Fuck.
No, I mean I'm all right. I have like my bank's worth like a little over 300 mil.
Okay. With that being said, the best practice for you would not be LMS, in my opinion. It wouldn't be safe. I would
Okay.
say, because I don't think that if you're not risking anything, you're not going to be getting that adrenaline. I would say
Yeah.
going with a group of people, 2, 3 people, and doing the Venenatis thing. Because if a BK gets on you, right, or even if you're attacking somebody, you're going to get that rush, right?
Yeah.
So the best practice for you would be exposure to losing stuff
Yeah.
and ultimately being okay with it, but also using that time that you're going through the adrenaline that you're going through and having to deal with that uh, physical problem that you're having. I would
Yep.
say getting used to that, right, and then being like, okay, well, it's not that bad. I lost 100K, but at the same time, I
Yeah.
got freaking
Exactly.
scared. You know what I mean? And you just keep doing that, and you just keep doing that. That's what I would say
Yeah.
do. And even
Okay.
if like even in that instance, if you didn't want to risk like a whole lot of money, we could all kind of throw together and kind of help you out in that aspect. If
It's no
it's
big
a
deal, man. I
500K risk
appreciate
or
that.
something. Well, I mean, it's just
Okay.
just to get you that exposure, and then obviously, I wouldn't. I'm not saying you shouldn't go by yourself, but I would say it
Yeah.
definitely be better at least to get a little bit of the nerves off you. So then you're like, oh, I have this
Yeah.
dude to back me up. So even if I do die, he can probably kill the motherfucker and then get my shit
Yeah.
back.
That's true.
Me too. Just doing
That's
a
true.
basic
But
PK
yeah, I
test.
definitely need some of the muscle memory right off the bat, and to just practice the switches and all that and whatnot. Because otherwise, I'm just gonna be. I mean, you're exactly right when it comes to I need to get used to like losing shit and just being cool with it and whatnot. But a lot of it is the inexperience, the lack of confidence I have in the wilderness. So whenever I go out into the wilderness, I expect to lose everything I got on me. You know what I mean?
I'm the same fucking way,
So
man. I'm literally the same way, and
yeah,
even
I
Requiem can fucking tell you exactly what that was like whenever he was in the call with me doing fucking Venenatis at 2 o'clock in the morning,
okay.
getting pissed at every PKer that walked in. He can tell you the same
Yeah, but
thing.
yep. Like I got my crossbow and then turned it into a web weaver with plans to go do revs. This was
Mhm.
like 2 months ago now. At this point, I have not gone to do it once.
And to be fair, I don't know about revs. Revs, I honestly wouldn't go there too much because people that go in there are probably going to end up
Yeah.
like murdering you every time. I would say, if anything, you kind of want to try to find a little bit less of a high populated
Okay.
area if you want to learn to PK. If you
Well,
want
no,
to go
yeah,
and
that
kind of get adrenaline out of the way.
I wasn't thinking that in terms of learning to PK. I was thinking that just as like a moneymaker. You know what I mean?
Right, right. No, I know, but I meant like on the PK side.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. So you think
Back to the
Venenatis is
refs now.
better
Then
to learn that?
any of the wildy bosses, it doesn't have to be Venenatis, or like even just
Okay.
going to like places where is a decent amount of money in the wilderness, right?
Also,
And you can just go there and try to learn instead of going to like a highly populated area
Yeah.
because you're probably gonna die unless you want to
Okay.
get that out the way. You know what I mean?
okay, so I got
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
to project in
Go
there.
ahead.
So the other thing we kind of discussed this too is the mentality is completely different in DMM because obviously there's risk associated no matter what. They have further incentivized that risk by saying, hey, even when you're chopping trees or mining rocks in a danger zone, you have a chance of getting sigils and
Yep.
unique table drops.
Skilling,
So, like,
skilling is
they've-
a bit better this DMM.
Yeah. So
It must be a
encourages people who would
glitch.
normally never step outside
It
of the safe
must
zone. They might sit
be.
at the U tree in Varrock near the bank or the GE. Now those people might venture out and do 3-tick, teak wood cutting somewhere, Isle of Souls or like Prifddish.
Yeah,
or
that's
something.
true.
So it actually creates an opportunity for somebody who's less of a PKer to find somebody who's not even a PKer doing something and still have a risk, reward.
Fucking shit on them.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, right.
that was my first point, just to kind of further emphasize that like there is a lot more opportunities this time around to find skillers out in dangerous areas, and like
Okay.
obviously also PKers being out there to find them. But like, let's be honest, there's like a very small percentage of people who are super duper really good and also super duper confident
Yeah.
that aren't either one cheating or two part of a massive clan. So they just don't care about what they're risking. They're not worried about risking anything because they have a mule that has like hundreds of mil DMM to just buy VLSs over and over again whenever they die. But regardless, that leads me to my point where we can do tank tests with you. We can do
Okay.
wilderness bosses, like he mentioned, like Venenatus or Callisto, things where we're going to get logged in on by like groups of people that are like 5 to 10 in numbers. And also
Yeah.
setting up our inventories in a way where we would normally have it like as if we were playing in DMM. So like having a mage switch, having a staff, having a looting bag at all times, things like that to kind of like help build a mentality.
Okay.
Like, this is how my inventory should look. This is the kind of
Yep.
setup I need to bring to outlast other people, because DMM is all about survival, especially if you're not going to try to kill somebody, just surviving in general.
And if you don't mind
Okay.
me furthering on that as well, we can also do stuff like that, but then have like random pieces of gear, not just the best in
Yeah,
slot.
that's what I was
So
gonna
that
say.
you can have like, oh, I have a Mystic Bottom, but I have an Aram Robe top. You know what I mean? Stuff like
Yeah,
that,
yep.
where it's not just the best in slot, but also stuff that you might be more realistic if you don't get all the drops you need.
Yeah, it'd probably be better to practice with less, best in slot gear, like kind of more minimal,
I wanted to make a
and
point.
get used to that.
I'm sorry for interjecting again, but I did want to make another point that's relevant to the
Oh, you're
whole
good.
of DMM. Elite Void is being done away with as far as the point system
What?
they had. So you can no longer purchase. So all those really good PKers who kind of cheesed just getting Void instantly and being able to like super spike their power level, because of the fact that obviously Elite Void has a lot of accuracy and damage bonus, that allowed PKers who were good to just like, instantly shit on people. So they're removing that entirely. So now you have to risk Arams, you have to risk Carols to like basically have the best in slot setup. So a lot of PKers, it's either you're risking a lot or you're risking nothing. So you'll know immediately.
You're talking about Deadman mode?
Yeah.
Yeah, last year.
Okay, I didn't
Last year you
realize people were getting Elite Void.
I'll kind of explain how it used to work, right? So breaches, right? You get tier 5 emblems
Just
or
before you do,
however.
though, before you do,
Yeah.
let me just tell you that the people who are actually in the permanent DMM worlds are sour about that. They're like, we
Yeah.
have to actually earn it by playing games. You guys got that shit spooned to you. It's funny. Go on.
You're lagging a bit.
And
Yeah, I couldn't hear you.
They were just upset because we got spooned and they actually had to earn that through points.
oh, they hate me.
Okay.
I logged in with full Elite
Yeah.
Void. I logged in with the
And
Missouri Assembler.
it wasn't just Void. It was Elite Void. We didn't even have to do the achievement diary for it.
Well, aside from that too, like all the quest lines that are instantly unlocked because they kind of buffed that as well. Like you go to the max combat bracket, you have like 70% of the damn quest completed by default just from
Right.
clicking
Well,
a
that
button
was,
as
that
soon
was
as you
the automatic
bracket.
benefit, obviously. But yeah.
Yeah, which is super nice. And again, that's
So wait, can I ask something real quick?
Yeah.
So Elite Void's just not in the game.
No, it's there. You just
For-
have to actually play pest control and
Oh, okay.
organize a unit.
So
Gotcha.
you have to get a group of people that won't try to kill you in multi and take them with you to pest control
Yeah.
to do
Gotcha.
a friendly mini game.
But
And there's
pest
not even
control's
that
a
many
safe
people on
zone,
DMM.
just so you know.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
the entirety of it, like the island as well.
The island, not Port Serum, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but either
Okay.
way, the amount of people that are online at a time,
Zeal-
is usually 40
zeal-
to 60, 60 being a really high number, and like 40 being like average. So like
Did
normally,
I need money for entering Revenant Caves?
Yeah.
yeah, you
It's
still
all-
need
everything's
100
Yeah.
gold regardless. All of the mechanics are the same. The only main mechanics, if anybody's unfamiliar, is you're scald. You gotta wait 7 seconds to tell you. Normally you can tell you within 3 seconds after combat, roughly. But when you're scald, you choose to elect to be like, I can't tell you out. So if somebody good is on you, they can seed out of the way. If you're trying to DD, they can attack you, and then you can't really get away from them. It's very hard to get away from them.
Well,
especially if
so
they're
you
team.
wait 7 seconds from when? From when you click to try and
So-
teleport?
you have to have hit priority, right? So you let's say you barrage them, run behind a tree, then you have to instantly click your teleport, and as soon as that click registers, then you have to wait 7 seconds, or your
Okay,
It must be a glitch.
I
So
understand. Yep.
it's
It
roughly
must
like an
be.
8 to 9 second delay after you attack them to actually get out of danger, and then you could be telling into a dangerous area anyways. Like you're scald, you can't go to a safe zone. It's like you'd be telling to Castle Wars, and who's to say there's not a person just waiting at Castle Wars for someone
Yeah.
to teleport in with 2 brews and 1 restore. So like there's always that risk regardless. That's why it's like we should take the mentality of like we don't skull up unless it is 100% guaranteed that we can protect each other, and then we can help
Yep.
each other out. Because there's never really a time where you're safe unless you're unskulled and you're in a safe zone. So
Okay, makes sense.
What's the timer on when you skull you can't get into a safe zone? Was it 5 minutes last year?
So I think they've adjusted over time. So it used to be based on combat level. I know that's like if you attack somebody umpteen levels underneath you, then you get a 30-minute skull. It depends on your combat level.
Yeah,
Now
but
I
now
believe
they're
it's
all
5.
in brackets.
I think it's
for
5
that.
minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's by default is 5 minutes, I believe.
Got it.
I don't think that can be extended unless you get an actual like revenant skull. Like if you do the trader, then you get a 20-minute skull. So that still applies. So there's basically like if you're doing revenants, you'd only do that if you feel very very comfortable with losing whatever you have, and you don't care, because basically you're hoping to get one really lucky drop and then leave instantly,
So
even
like
if you're
an Amulet
skulled.
of Avarice would literally give you full time.
Oh, it would be infinite. Amulet of Avarice is
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
best and worst items
But
in
once
DMM.
you take it off, you have to wait 20
Yeah,
minutes instead of 5.
I believe so. Yeah, I think you still have a 20-minute timer on
It
Avarice
depends on
as
the
well.
type
I
of
can't.
skull, apparently.
I was actually interested in that because during the All Stars they had a couple Avarices, and I think that was the case where like they
I
put it
think
on. It was a 20-minute
Oda
timer.
got one. I
So
think it was Oda. Like one
it
of
was
his
it was
early
one
skills.
KC that he got one.
Yeah, that was impressive. But he didn't really do revs, so.
Yeah.
And then the one KC imp for the crossbow, bro, from Rakesy.
Bro, freaking Rakesy, man. No, that wasn't his only thing too. He got like 2. He got like a Thamarins. He got a
Yeah, a lot
crossbow.
of stuff.
They pulled damn 2 VLSs, 3 Z staffs. So it was like just crazy RNG.
Did you guys get your general conversations out the way about all practice
Yeah,
and stuff?
for me, for sure. I think we just need to develop a plan, a small group of people. I can add them. We can create our own little maybe clan chat or something,
Yeah,
like
so
just to have
just so you
interpersonal
know,
conversations.
like the actual plan there, I haven't worked on that hired stuff at all. I've only done the start. You know,
Mhm.
like the first day. And even that alone is 200 pages with pictures, right? So that's very thorough. And it's very thorough because you have to play the game as like an Iron Man. The GE stuff isn't available for the most part. I didn't accommodate for everything being Iron Man, but you know, your first 5,000 coins, you better spend that well. You know, so that's very thorough. But after that, it's more like I'm gonna create something that's like here's some points that you need to do, and since you have access to the GE, I don't have to tell you what to buy or pick up here. That's 10 quests down the line anymore. Just go do it. Right? So day one's guide is very specific for everybody.
That's the other thing too, and I remember seeing your original like podcast or video about discussing the early game plan for the clan, and I know my plan is obviously going to be slightly variant just because of the fact that one, I plan on rushing Slayer and levels and all that, so I'm definitely going to be using the early game quests to boost me up to the brackets, like probably 71 to 90 almost immediately. Tree Gnome, Fight Arena, Monkey Madness, and I should be like 75 combat or something, and I got to go get overheads with that protection either between or after, one of the two, and then I'll work on getting 70 prayer after that as well. But regardless, I know my goal is, and anybody who wants to go to the max brackets goal is going to be to push levels immediately, so there's less people in the worlds to attack them, so that way they're free to like go to monkeys, train, do raids, whatever they got to do to get that money immediately. The boost of income, revenants is a big deal too.
Yep.
If there's 2 people logged in, revenants are fairly safe. So that's always been my mentality and goal. So
I'm people logged in on revenants.
So let's say, for example, it's not any more or less safe necessarily, but I mean, if there's 60 people logged into the bracket below and you decide to go to revenants,
I
there's
see what you're saying. Yeah.
30 times the likelihood of somebody actually finding you and calling somebody or whatever else. If there's only 2 people logged into the max bracket, let's say you're one of the first people, you can go pay your 100K and there's only one other person who could potentially even come kill you for the time being. So it's like you might have an hour or two or even a day to sit there safely and farm revenants, and that's like a mill or two cash. You can dump that into training, buying Chinchampas, barrage sacks, ice sacks, or whatever sigils you have,
Everything has
selling
its,
those
its
as well.
consequences, yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I guess
So
that's a huge benefit, though, to getting to that higher level bracket as
You have to
quickly as
have a
possible.
proper strategy if you want to do that.
Yeah.
And I know there's PKers who are wisening up to that as well, because a lot of people are under the perception that PKers only stay in the low level brackets, which generally speaking is true. A lot of the streamers and PKers like to stay in the 91 to 100 bracket, like somewhere around that combat level, usually maxed out in one of those combat brackets. They don't like to go to the
Okay.
126 bracket because there's less people that even want to play the game that way and actually get up to that combat. So the higher up you go, the less likely it is that you'll find somebody. But I know West Ham actually devised a plan to be one of the few PKers, and he's an extremely talented PKer, really good. You would
Oh,
never
yeah.
want to be
Yep.
caught by West Ham, but he made an account specifically to go to the max bracket. And he was logged in similar, like with only like one or two people online, and he went to Revs and found them. Right? Yep. For last seasonal 9 months ago.
Got it.
I was watching all of their content creator videos and whatnot, but either way, like again, you never know what's going to happen. We're all in different time zones for the most part, so creating a loop of like, hey, this is a consistent known good plan. I have no disagreements with like, hey, let's rush pyramid plunder, or like, I mean, excuse me, agility pyramid.
You
Let's
said
make
pyramid
money early
plunder
and
earlier. I
protect
didn't
each other.
deny it, but we're not doing pyramid plunder for sure.
You said, yeah, not pyramid plunder, definitely not going for pharaoh scepters.
Somebody in a video said agility arena too, and I'm like, that's not quite what he meant, but I know what he meant.
Wilderness agility is, I'm not gonna lie, wilderness agility is
arena.
very appealing.
Arena.
No, I know what you said. I'm saying the
Like in
wilderness.
Brimhaven?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was thinking wilderness agility too, because that's like a really good,
But
like,
the agility arena got buffed too.
Yeah.
So that has its benefits.
True as well. Yeah.
But you know, we're not.
Did anybody
Well,
else have any
wilderness
questions?
agility got buffed.
Needing toad flax.
Yeah.
Wilderness agility got
Okay.
entirely reworked, so like now it actually gives you something. For one, it's better XP per hour. Two, you actually get items, and it's extremely profitable. It's like 3 mil an hour. It's actually one of the best money makers in game as long as you don't die.
Yeah. Yep.
In DMM, I think that's going to be a protection strat. So like people who go to the next bracket and they want to do something for an hour, they're going to get their agility level up using protection, and then get all the hard food and supplies, alk it or sell it, and then go straight to revs after that with like 80 plus agility and use the shortcuts to their advantage after that. That
That
seems
makes
to
sense.
be a somewhat reliable strat in my mind. But
Okay.
anyways, that was all I had about that whole topic of maxing bracket and all that kind of stuff.
You're not gonna get to 89 an hour though.
No.
Maybe not in an hour.
Okay.
So how many people roughly are there expected to be more players this year compared to last?
I mean, I'm here. That's a +1.
No. I mean in Deadman mode as a whole.
Oh.
Does the hype around it seem to be bigger so far? Like
It's only getting more mainstream.
it is.
It is, yeah,
Okay.
because there's plenty more people who enjoy the fact that the sigils are more balanced. It's less cringe to deal with. Like again, the removal of ninja sigil alone is going to be one of the biggest improvements to the DMM.
The adding of breaches, man. That's the biggest thing that's welcoming people. Plus, the whole thing is PVM based, and the point system doesn't cater to PKers. So it's a literally beginner man mode for PVM players that happens to have PKing.
Yeah. I know they. I heard that they made it a lot more. I heard that they made it a lot more like PVM based. And then you guys were saying that what?
It's much more welcoming to all players now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and like you were saying before, it kind of they gave incentives for people who aren't PKers to go out and kind of resource, like mine and fish and do stuff like that. It seems.
Yeah. The only thing.
Oh, I got a greater necklace.
It incentivizes skilling, I guess.
The only thing that's odd though, how long were the past DMMs? How many weeks? Like the older ones?
Usually 2 weeks, the original ones.
2 weeks.
So the old school ones were 2 weeks at a time. The last one was actually the longest one they've done. I think it was a month and a week.
No, the last one.
So it was fairly long.
3 weeks.
No, it was definitely longer than 3 weeks.
It was a month and a week.
I think it was around that time, yeah. And they even chose to increase the amount of time because of the amount of players they had.
Nah, bro.
Jeez.
Dude, I just got PK'd
Who?
for about an 100k setup.
Nice.
Wow. No, because I think before Rebirth, right? Because Rebirth was one of the, I think it was the
Reborn?
first one that introduced sigils. Reborn, excuse me. I think that one was 3 weeks. Rebirthed. Armageddon Rebirth. But no, I don't know. I think it was somewhere around 4 to 5 weeks, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I played throughout the entire thing into the finale, so I know it was longer than 3 weeks for sure.
Damn.
Because even all my buddies were like, "We're not playing this whole thing out, man. We're
It
just
was
dying,
August
and
and
it's not
September.
fun."
Well, and it's 2 weeks this
Yeah.
time around, right?
No, it's 3 weeks. I think it's
Oh, it is
July
3. Okay.
11th through like August 2nd or 3rd.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
happen to have the news post for everything you need to know for Deadman Apocalypse, so let me just check this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I gotta read more.
How we went to save our money. That's DMM.
What?
So I have, so I need to have 2 accounts to store my money on one account, or what?
Yeah, but if you do that, you can't compete. You can't do competitive if you mule. That's like muling is specifically, from my understanding, if you have one account that doesn't risk anything at all, and you're trading valuables between those 2 accounts. So like it doesn't ever go into a safe zone, and it doesn't actually play the game mode in a way that it is going to include the potential of you dying. And I wouldn't rule it out by just having you run out of the GE once across the wilderness line either. You'd actually have to play the game in a way that you take risk on all of your alt accounts, right? And then that would be the way that you could potentially carry that into the competition. But other than that, you can't do a strategy with a mule and expect to compete. But if you're not competing for the type prize money, then you could mule if you wanted to, and it shouldn't be a problem, but it is technically against the rules. It's just they're not going to check you if you're not competing, because that's when it matters. You win prize money and you cheated? Not okay, you know?
I will say every single clan that I know of that was competitive or had a chance of being competitive was 100% most definitely muling, stream sniping, AHKing, doing anything they possibly could to gain a competitive advantage over other people. Now, whether or not they got caught is a completely different story, because a lot of them are very, very secretive about how they do things and what they do and when they hit people. But they definitely use every strategy in the book to give themselves a competitive advantage over their opponents. And I'm talking about like hacking discords. I'm talking about like any type of nefarious shit that you can do to listen in on what people are doing.
There's no way for Jagex to stop screen sniping.
It's the same thing as when you have somebody who's butthurt about their clan losing and then they DDoS the entire world or something. It's something like that, where it's like very salty behavior. It's very people who just like they think they're gonna win, they don't, so they get angry and do
Damn.
irrational things. So we're dealing with a bunch of children. A lot of these big clans. There's only a couple clans that even have their integrity in the first place. So yeah, I've seen muling firsthand on multiple occasions. I mean, it's fairly obvious actually if you just look around the GE and find people who stand there in and day out. I was playing 16, 18 hours a day, frequenting the GE often, and I would just see them sitting there. I'm like, this person has not left GE a single time. And there's multiple people right before breaches that run up to them, trade them, get a return set, and then that's it. And that person just stays there the entire breach. So it's like, it is extremely obvious, but what can you do?
So it's not bannable.
It is bannable. It is very
It
much
is.
bannable. They just don't necessarily do it. Again,
They
like
don't
I think,
moderate
like he said,
It's only
unless
when
they can
check it.
directly, unless they can directly prove that that had an influence on you winning over another team to win money
Yeah.
for prize finale or something, then they might take action and like revoke the decision. But at the same
Okay.
time, again, that's so deep. Like that would have to be like very, very a moderator, well documented, something recorded showing it happening. Like
Yeah.
most people
Okay, I
don't care
gotcha.
enough to do that because all of the clans are doing it, so it's kind of like understood. We don't talk about it; we just do it.
Yep.
It's one of
Okay.
those things. Similar to HK, because like it's very obvious when somebody's using a prayer client, because you can just sit there and one tick your weapons back and forth, and their prayers will just change in an inhuman
Yeah.
manner. So
Well, there's a bunch of those bots apparently at Pirates or by the Chaos Altar.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I know. Because as soon as they leave the aggro range of the mages, they start one tick prayer flicking everything, and you can't hit them with anything. So it's like obviously a prayer client for those.
Yeah. Yep.
I know exactly what you're talking about because I PK'd there a couple times by myself actually, and just like out of interest to see what kind of bots they had.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, apparently if there's a way somebody was handling it, they were freezing them, but with keeping their crossbow in hand, so the bots were keeping range prey up.
Yeah, normally speaking, you have to have like 3 or 4 people with either some kind of really good range weapon or debos or low level peers
it.
with debos to
I got
kill
the
those
info.
kind of bots.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
the starting
Okay.
date. God, I had to go through all the news posts for it to find it. It's kind
That's
of
some
like
dedication, man.
it's kind of like me trying to find the breach locations last year. I couldn't fucking find them, bro. There's no information. Even the wiki doesn't have the breach locations. So I had to fucking remember.
Oh, yeah.
I had to remember all 14.
I remember. Bro, I could pinpoint them on a map right now.
Good.
I remember all
I
of them.
had to remember. I didn't use any source, and I got 14. That was.
I would just look at videos. I would just look at footage
Yeah,
because
but
people report
no.
that stuff.
That's a lot. The thing is, YouTube even deregulated the algorithm. Like they dropped that shit, so you can't find exactly what you want. It's weird.
Hey guys, I'm going AFK for a little bit. I'll be back in probably about 30 minutes, but I'm not going to leave.
But here.
All right, man.
Before you go,
Sounds good.
it was the 25th, and the finale, 25th of August, and the finale was on the 15th of September.
So it was 3 weeks.
I'll be the guy talking to you is not the one going AFK. Pesos is going
Actually, the
AFK.
finale was the 16th.
Yeah.
Finale was the 16th. The world's closed on the 15th.
Yeah, I mean that wouldn't matter. I thought they extended it to be honest, but
They did something because like I think they might have tried to do something like that because of what they were doing with the pest control points, trading over to last man standing, which allowed them to then sell for enormous amounts of money and get billions. Right? Remember that happening?
yeah, I remember that actually. People were extorting the fuck out of that,
Yeah.
which was smart to be honest, because nobody caught on to that for like a week or two into the tournament.
Yeah, it was exactly 3 weeks and the final day. So it's 3 weeks in one day. So this year we have
Well, I'm
2
delusional.
weeks in one day. So it's very fast paced. Very fast paced.
I just felt like so long. I must have been playing 16-hour days or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it felt longer. It's just I fucked around for 2 weeks last time and only 1 week.
What was
serious.
actually? I have a question for you.
Yeah, I got to pee.
Out
right
of
now.
interest and curiosity.
I'm drinking
No,
so
that's
much.
no, you're good. Yeah, I'm drinking a lot too. Not coffee though.
So
If you need to pee, I'll hold my question until after you get done. That way, and you
thanks.
can relieve yourself first.
Thank you.
Mhm.
But something I'll leave you with before I go.
So what are we saying, guys? What do you think would be a fun?
Whoops.
I'd like to gauge interest within the clan, at least while people are active, to see who all is actually interested in taking it up to the max bracket quickly. I think the best strategy normally is just do the normal quest line. So like Grand Tree, Fight Arena, Monkey Madness. Use your XP on whatever your lowest stats are. That way it levels out your stats and raises your combat level. Do quest completions that are going to further your XP even higher. So like insta completion of Desert Treasure 2, insta completion of like Tombs of a Masket, let's say, for whatever quest line you want to go for raids. And then essentially getting to that combat bracket, making money through Slayer to buy better gear and put stuff in your depot box and instantly going to raids. That's kind of like my goal by like day 4, maybe day 3 to day 4, having good sigils and having good gear. But
And you
that's
think
all.
it'd be worth doing Slayer to make that money needed
Oh, absolutely. Slayer's one of
in
the
that
most
short time?
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. Like, if you're doing the quest quickly and you're being efficient,
Yeah.
Slayer is already the best way of training your combat stats because you have
Yeah.
a team bonus. On top of that, a majority of the money makers in the game during DMM is barrage clumping, and they even released a new sigil that's actually going to make it even more strong. So
Okay.
instead of hitting 9 targets, it's now going to hit 20 targets.
Holy shit.
Over 2 times as effective to use Chinchampas and whatever type of burst damage you have available to you. So
Okay.
I think that's going to be overlooked to a certain extent, and people aren't going to like be bold enough to just go out and do like Slayer tasks, like Barrage Slayer tasks. So I'm definitely going to be trying to do that. I'm going to rush DT. If I have the opportunity to kill people, I'm going to bring a PK setup, kind of like low key, like D bolster and crossbow mystics, and then like my Slayer helmet or whatever. I'm going to look like a PVMer, but I'm going to be prepared to fight people if I need to, and I'm going to be in like mostly multi combat if I'm doing Slayer, because of the fact that Slayer is 9 times out of 10 if you're barraging. I mean, actually 100% of the time it's going to be multi combat because you can't really barrage in single combat. So
Okay.
but
I feel like with Slayer, it's going to be a lot of time wasted traveling back and forth here and there. I feel like Slayer is kind of pointless in a way to get up for Deadman mode.
So when you
But-
say things like that,
can-
bro, you just need more
Yeah.
game knowledge. Like, you need to know what the sigils do, and you need to fill the gaps within your brain of thinking things are impossible, because things are actually
I'm not thinking it's
more likely
impossible.
to
I'm
be
just trying to
efficient.
understand why that would be so beneficial.
I've done this multiple times, and I'm not just saying that as like a flex or whatever, but I will give you some realistic examples of why it's important to
Yeah.
use Slayers. It's not only a moneymaker, but also just in general. So one, increased XP rate. So the whole intent is to make it a higher combat level than other people, to make yourself a
Okay.
harder target, right? So if a PKer gets in that max bracket, but you're 10 levels, combat levels above them, they're less likely to attack you because you're seen as more of a
Yeah.
threat, right? You're higher combat level. That's just for one. For two, a lot of Slayer monsters are a higher combat level than other monsters. Therefore, you have a higher chance of receiving a sigil, hitting the Deadman rare table, and also hitting like any type of rare loot, right? And they drop better items too, because Slayer's just a good money
Yeah.
maker.
Plus the lock locations for Slayer, right?
Exactly, and part of that is just questing, because I'm kind of a questing nerd. I'm an Iron Man, so like I love getting
Any
areas
locked-
unlocked.
Any locks
Yeah.
help you so much.
Exactly. So
Anything
like,
behind
let's
the
say
barrier.
Prifdinus. So like Prifdinus, for example, is a perfect one. A lot of PKers, the only reason they do it is to buy the items and to use the items, like Bofa or Crystal Arm or whatever else. But a lot of people don't do that early. They do that later on in DMM, like second week, third week. But if you're able to rush Song of the Elves like first 5 days, like I did during the, I think it was the Reborn, I was top page for the first 2 days because all I was doing was grinding out stats, earning money, grinding out stats, buying the sigils that I needed to further my account. I unlocked Pertinus, and I think I was the first person, maybe the second person there, except for remaining. But I was there. I was able to do CG, right? And I have a different approach now because I don't see Prif as valuable, but like we saw about those locked locations.
Yeah, but that was when Song of the Elves came out, so you understand.
Yeah, it was a lot more. What's the word? People weren't as familiar with the quest line. They weren't as they didn't think about it as like a necessity. But CG is super good moneymaker. And as somebody who did 600 KC on my Iron Man, I was very familiar with CG, and I liked doing it. Well, hated it, but loved it at the same time because all the money and shit. But the whole point being, Slayer is a very, very, very viable rush in DMM. It's one of the best money makers for swapping because let's say you rush 82 Slayer, get a Wild Pie, go Barrage, Abyssal Demons, and you get like 5 whips at a time.
Yeah, that's true.
Candidly speaking, you want to bank those whips almost immediately. But at the same time, you have a really big potential to make tons of money instantly because those rare drops.
What's up, GTR?
Yo.
Welcome. Didn't
But
want to interrupt.
I wasn't saying that to necessarily argue with you, but I would say
Oh, I know that.
you're not perceiving the full picture of what's available in DMM as far as sigil drops, rare tables, uniques, and just alchables in general. It's like you.
Oh
get
yeah,
all-
I know I'm not. I wasn't
Well-
thinking that I was in any way. That's why I was asking.
Okay, awesome. Well, hopefully my explanation was somewhat helpful. I wasn't trying to
Your
do a
game
verbal argument.
Yeah, absolutely.
experience and preparation is going to help you be well informed, so you start to think differently about how to think through this lens of what DMM is. That's why you need to fill the gaps, right?
And that's
Yeah,
why
I got you.
When you actually
a lot
play
of
the game, you'll learn, oh, this is how this works. Oh, this is advantageous. Oh, this puts me in a place where I'll die, you know? You'll think of all those things.
and that's
Yeah,
especially important, 'cause you'll
go
have
ahead.
people- sorry, you'll have people that will literally do nothing but try to hunt you while you're doing Slayer. So there is a downside to it too, because they know they know all the locations that you're going to be at to do Slayer training. The thing is, that's why you rush the higher combat brackets, is because you're going to be so far ahead of them exponentially. So while you're barrage tasking, you'll be working on getting the next bracket while they're trying to reach your current bracket. And I mean, sometimes you can't avoid PKers, but like if you're quick enough, you can make headway that's like unbeatable, and that's kind of like the whole goal is like reach 71 to 90, barrage all the way up to 90, 100, and then you reach that max bracket. All you're
Well, what
trying
was
to
the
do
first thing you said? You said
So,
what? From
so
1 to
like
90?
normally, right? You use the quests because quests are just overpowered as
Okay,
shit
yep.
for any type of like game mode where they give you increased XP. So like you do the normal quests that give you combat XP. So Waterfall,
Okay.
Green Gnome Village, Monkey Madness, Fight Arena, all those. Those give you like a lot of good, well-rounded XP. And also there's modifiers as you go up in the brackets, right? So like if you go from the 1 to whatever it is, 32 or 50, 1 to 50 bracket to the 50 through 79 bracket, the XP rates increase even more.
50 to
So like the
70,
quicker,
51 to 70.
yeah, 51 to 70. Sorry. So
Okay.
once you reach the next bracket, the drop rates go up, which they've slightly nerfed the drop rates, I believe. Overall, you have to the 4x is only at the top bracket, so you have to get there quicker even to get the drop rate boost. But
I think they added more of an X rate for the lower 2 brackets, which previously
yeah,
only
so
had 1.
they rounded it out a little bit more fairly, I guess you could say. It's not necessarily a nerf, but it is they rounded it out to where like
The lower
getting the
brackets still
higher
benefit.
brackets. Yeah, you can still benefit from doing like getting unique drops in a lower bracket, even though you most of the time you wouldn't be doing that, right? Because you're not going to be killing Dark Beasts on a level 49 account or 50 account. That's just not going to be happening. So it doesn't really matter. My whole point is you use the quest to boost your account into that 71 90 bracket, and from there on you look to get items like Ancient Staff for barraging, Black Mask for Slayer, and then just like ice sacks, supplies for food, dehide sets, like train your range up enough to get magic defense, just general things that'll make you like harder to kill, right? Because like somebody trying to barrage you or blitz you in black dehide that's a lower combat level, lower magic level is going to have a lot less success if you have those unlocks. Like some type of shield that has defense, crystal shield, black dehide top, black dehide bottom, mystic boots, amulet of glory. Mage Arena 2 cape is one of the bigger unlocks you can get to because that's like a well-rounded cape that's good no matter what. But again, Slayer is an extremely overpowered avenue to take because it gives you that combat boost immediately. So that's my piece. I mean, I know just from
Okay.
personal experience, it works very, very well, and I've always I got 2 ninja sigils just training Slayer, so I was able to trade that for 200 mil DMM because the price went up. So when I sold it, it was 200 mil, and I was able to buy a couple max sets and just have fun with it, to be honest.
God damn.
So that was lucky, granted, but I mean at the same time that's the opportunity you can be afforded by just training Slayer because you're killing so many monsters in a short amount of time that like you're hitting the drop rates a lot quicker than people who are just running around in circles trying to find PKers or skillers or whatever else.
When Autoblock scammed somebody for the ninja sigil, I thought that was so funny.
When he scammed them for the AGS too, but it was actually complete shit. The corrupted AGS. That was one of the funniest day one clips.
I'm back, guys.
Hell yeah, man. We're just
Hey,
having fun discussing methods.
You were. Go ahead.
No, I was saying we're just having fun discussing some methods and kind of going over like general
He was saying why Slayer's optimal.
DMM stuff because not all of us are as familiar as others. So
I was gonna say you started talking about some Mike's Hard, made me want to drink, so I went out and got some beer.
yeah, I got some Mike's Hards right in front of me.
I knew someone
Well,
who like only drank those.
unfortunately, I'm no longer gonna be able to drink here in about 4 days, so getting my drinking out now all I can.
I feel that.
Shit. Why is that?
DWI got me, man. DWI.
Oh, fuck.
Oh man,
Don't worry, initiative.
Driving while intoxicated, my guy.
I thought it was
Nah,
You lose your license completely?
So
No,
DWI is the actual charge versus.
There's multiple. There's DUI, there's DWI, there's OWI. It's
Who made
they
up all
just
this
kind of
shit, bro?
the government,
So one is
the
Driving
fucking
under the
London
influence,
government,
driving while intoxicated.
and operating while intoxicated as well. For if
Yeah.
you have like a 4x4 or something.
Yep.
Yeah,
What-
it's. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna ask a question because I have no clue to be honest. How many hours is there till the All-Star Finals? I thought it was like in the afternoon my time, like 6, 7 hours, 8 hours, something like that.
I have it in my calendar for this specific time zone. I will tell you what I have here, but other than that, I do not know. I will give you it in this.
Just like how many hours out is it?
I'll do both. I'll count.
Let's go.
But my
He's
phone-
like, I gotta do
phone
math?
is all
Fuck.
slow and fucked up right now, so just bear with me. But
It's all good.
No, it's not all good.
It's all good.
Why is your phone fucked up? No, I'm fucking fucked with you.
because I haven't turned it off after I cleared space and closed all the apps, and it was giving me
Oof,
like
yeah.
system problems where it's like, hey, do you want to wait or do you want to close it? I just keep hitting wait. It's,
Bro, off topic. I'm actually hoping that since my court date's on the 25th, I hope they get me in soon enough to where next year, since I have a whole year where I can't drink because of this program they had to put you on. I'm hoping that they get me in quick enough to where next 4th of July I'll be able to fucking drink. Because if not, I'll just miss out on 2, and that'd be kind of fucking shitty.
Oh, okay.
You're already planning a fucking
Oh, yeah.
big ass
Oh,
party
fucking
once you're
yeah.
off. Yeah.
Oh no, no
Yep.
party. I'm getting fucking plastered at a bar, dog, and then I'm getting a taxi home. I'm getting a taxi home, okay?
all right.
It's
Yeah, I was gonna
19th.
say just don't drive.
It's 11 a.m. on Saturday. So currently it's 8:04 p.m. for me right now. So it would literally be 12 plus 3, which would be 15 hours from now.
Yep. Yeah, so for me it's 1900 because it's 4 a.m. here, so 04 to 1900. That makes sense. Okay. That's what I thought. I was just trying to make sure I wasn't crazy. I don't want to miss the finale.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does. It's the one thing.
That's
everybody
been
wants
hella fun to
watch,
watch.
for
It's just so
sure.
sad, man. Oda Block went freaking dry for like 250 KC at Zill. Or
He
Krill.
got lucky pretty early on, though, it seemed.
Not really. I mean, he got
No?
the one Avarice drop. That was about it. Like that's all the luck they really had.
Okay.
Whereas the other teams got, early VLSs. I mean, the Void Waker was slightly spooned, but I mean, they spent a lot of their time and
Yeah.
effort locking down the Void Waker locations themselves. So
It was cool that they did that early.
Well, the funny thing was when Dino got his and was like, "Oh, well, they were gonna lock this down," but nope, he got his like within the first 30 seconds.
And he
It was
wasn't
also
even
kinda
like
funny when they
incredibly grateful. He was like, "Oh, that's nice."
Yeah, I know, right?
it was funny too when they got handed a free Void Waker because Ray wanted to go out and fight West Ham for no reason.
I
Just
didn't
ended
see
up
that
dying and losing him. You didn't? Sorry for ruining it, but yeah, he got AGS Jamalt and killed instantly.
No, I
And
heard about it, but I
yeah,
couldn't find it, or I haven't seen it yet.
that man was way too high to be risking that amount of money.
I bet. There was one
He had a
time where he was
Kodai.
talking with skill specs, and he was doing the agility in the wilderness, and he was
Yeah.
fucking blazed out of his mind, bro.
Yeah, Tired and Blaze is not the best combo
No, it's
for high
not.
risk fighting. I'll say that.
No.
He's over there
Not
trying
the
to
best
click on
combo
his
for
damn
driving
thing.
either. You haven't
Or anything, yeah.
smoked, you're gonna fucking crash and burn, bro.
Absolutely.
Because the
Dude,
crazy thing
no, I
about
was-
that is it regulates your body functions. It makes you do all the things you need to do. You need to eat. You need to take a shit. You need to sleep. Weed will help you. I think. That's my experience.
It used to for me, not so much anymore.
I think I can
Kind of
agree with
changed.
you
It
there.
doesn't help me sleep at all.
I don't
Yeah.
smoke weed enough to be informed on it because I haven't smoked
No.
weed in a long time.
That's been
A long time.
Everything has been a while.
10 years.
But I know it helps you with all those things. If you feel pain
Absolutely.
in your
Some
body, you're
people.
gonna know exactly where that shit is. Like, it zeroes in on it. It's not a dull pain. It's like, oh, it's right there. Ooh, you know what I mean? So yeah, it does a lot of cool things for your body.
Hones in your senses.
Does that?
I'm wondering if there's anything else we should discuss because I mean,
Yep.
I think there's
you've been
plenty of
talking your head
topics.
off the whole time.
I sure have. That's why I'm here.
Talking my head off too. Yeah.
That's what we do.
Wait, why the fuck? Why am I sitting here killing? Oh wait, because I have Hellhound's task, but it's with fucking Konar. I was like, why the fuck am I sitting here killing regular Hellhounds? I'm gonna go
I
fucking kill.
appreciate you saying that. That's also something you never want to do in DMM is use Konar, but she's going to give you
He's
like
doing
every
what?
location. Using Konar Slayer instead of just using like, Steve
Okay.
or Eve or whatever.
I'm only doing it now for some keys.
You want to be very selective about the locations you do your Slayer tasks a lot of times in DMM, and you also want to scout certain times to see who's there and how many people are there and if you're getting called up on. But if you get a Konar task, she will be like, oh, here, go to this multi-location and do it. And you'll be like, sure, I'll do it. It's a Slayer task. What could go wrong? And you walk into a multi-zone, you're just instantly
Bing,
dead.
bing, 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 bing. Oh, well,
And
there goes
with,
my
with
pocket.
Durio, you get more bossing opportunity, correct?
I think he has heavier weight on bossing. I'm not quite sure though. I'm not sure if
Okay.
that's true.
I don't even
I
have
think
a
Steve-
combat level to use him yet, so.
I don't either.
What is he, 100 combat or something?
Yeah, 100. Yep.
Wait, you don't have 100 combat on your main account?
Nope.
Requiem.
I will if I. So I was thinking of getting, because I got full bandos, and I've kind of changed around my account multiple times. I was thinking about getting 82 attack. I'm at 75 right now. I don't really want the combat levels though. Well, I mean, I was thinking Fang would be worth it if I really wanted to get into
Clock drop.
PVM.
I only have one question.
Yeah.
What is your symbol, man?
What?
What the fuck does it mean?
Okay.
It's a potion of speed from the game Realm of the Mad God.
Ream up the mad god. Fuck him. Real good. And call him Quentin.
Call him Squintin.
With speed. Got it. Berserk. Don't forget him. Alright. Sorry to interrupt you. It's just, it was starting to get general. And I have some things that I did want to say from our conversation from earlier.
Oh well, it was a question. I'm wondering if you guys think it's worth it for me to go ahead and get that 82 attack for Fang, or is Fang not that important
I was
for
gonna
early
ask
bossing?
you a question about how you want to build your account, because the main thing is, like you said, you mentioned not wanting to get combat levels. Is there a specific reason you're scared of getting combat levels or don't want to get them?
Not so much scared. I had screwed the account up a couple times when I was trying to make more of like a pure, and then I just decided to go with like basically a Zerker build, but I had screwed that up because I didn't do questing the right way. So I wanted to keep, somewhat of a low combat level, under 100 for sure, until after getting, like 99 range and 99 magic. So I was gonna keep defense at 60, attack at 70, maybe 75. Now it's at 75, but I went ahead and got defense to 65 for bandos, and then
Too high for 100.
yeah.
You're basically inching your way towards being a main anyways. I would just not
Yeah.
try to use the account as some kind of pure, like, just, you already kind of like, I don't want to make you feel bad, like you already
I
kind of
screwed it. Yeah.
many times to worry about
Oh
that.
yeah.
If you wanted
Okay.
to select
His
a
hit
pure
points
account,
is
I didn't recommend
74. His hit points is 74.
No, that's not me. That's Zun. You're talking about Zun.
Oh, okay.
I want to say, dog, what kind of account is that? You get one hit by everyone.
Yeah, no, my hit point's 85.
Some random level 80 runs up to you, the volatile staff, one shots.
Yeah, done.
I mean, my thing was, it's like the reasoning behind the comment was, I'd say, yeah, absolutely, go get a Fang. Like, it's going to help you conquer a lot of different pieces of content easily because of how the mechanics work, how broken it is. But
Yeah, okay. Even with like early bossing, just getting into it.
strength is always best trained before attack. At the same time, if you want to,
Well, that's what my strength is at. My strength is currently at 82, and that's what I would need to get my attack to.
I
So
mean, honestly, my perspective is slightly different too, because as an Iron Man, those items aren't always readily available, so I usually just skim to whip. And my attack my strength has almost always been 99, regardless, because I train my Slayer only using strength and only using D-skim. Now, since the game's been updated, there's a lot of different approaches to it, like rushing TOA, and rushing Zombie Axe, and doing all these other things they've introduced, or BOFA. But regardless, I mean, it stays the same. Like, whatever you think is your strongest combat style, strength is the best for melee combat. Like, you will always get more out of it than you'll get out of attack or defense.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, 82 is a good level to get just for the Fang. Absolutely.
Just for the what?
Just for the Fang. Just to equip the Fang and be able to use it. Not for training, but just for like bossing, PBM encounters, things like that.
Yeah, well then I would leave it at 82. It would stay 82 until my strength's 99, my magic and ranger are all 99, and I'd probably keep defense at 65 too. But then it's so close to 70, it would probably make sense to just go ahead and get.
I have one correction for you, and the only reason why I'm saying this is because Darox is an extremely strong, overpowered way of training your early stats, and like you're holding your defense 5 levels just to not use Darox, basically.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. So you don't think that'd be worth it?
No, I definitely just get 70. Like, because you could even shift
Okay.
to Barrows Pure. Like, if you're getting 99 range, 99 mage, and you want to keep right now, currently, you're 75 attack, you could keep that as a Barrows Pure and do like a DH bomb kind of build where it's like 99 range, 99 mage, 70 defense, 75 attack, which normally I think most Darox accounts they stay 70 attack just to lower their combat level. It doesn't matter. But you'd have
Really?
access to
Okay.
AGS, so you could do Darox with MSB and AGS combo, having Venge as
That's
well.
true.
So like that's a very, very strong account build as well, regardless. But either way, I'd say just like having a main account gives you more flexibility. So I'd always encourage people just to make a main if they haven't, maxed the
Okay.
combat before.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, Rick, you can go on and go with what you were trying to do.
Yeah, back to
Sorry, I'm dropping shit.
All right. Thanks, Clock, about the potion, man. Fucking leaving me wondering, bro. Like, what the hell is that this whole time? I'm glad I asked. Speed potion. So, one of the things I wanted to acknowledge is that I was just starting yesterday commenting on YouTube videos about last year's DMM, asking them if they were doing it this year. And I was being very specific on if they wanted to do it for fun or money this year, then I have something for them potentially. But I'm just going to leave the specificity out and go and look at other guides or something that's released this year by other people and go comment on other people's comments there and see if that works and helping get some more people. So maybe it will help you with your competitive strategy potentially. Instead of just doing it for those two motivations, I'll just make it non-denominational and then maybe people want the third. Yeah. So I just want
You're commenting to recruit?
Yep.
Okay.
Try to get people who also are interested in the competitive aspects. I think it's not something we should overlook, regardless. I mean, like, sure, most of the clan probably is on board with making money and swapping because most people are in DMM. But I think there's more to DMM as far as the fun aspect should also include that competitive angle as well. That's just my personal opinion, though.
Yep. I just said that because I know my limits.
Yeah.
So that's what I was advertising. So another thing that's important to understand is Muling. I know we already did talk about it, but it's just one of the things. Like, my initial thought and setup for my accounts was to have 5 accounts for me and have them all take a risk. But I wasn't planning on doing competitive anyways, so I'm probably going to have a 6th account now, which does do bank storage. You trade them and they're bank Muling, right? But it'll also process items like herb lore or crafting, for example, bank standing stuff. So, yeah, you can have something like that if you wanted to. Just, if you're going to keep in the lower brackets, you would want it to interact with those. And if you're trying to go from competitive, just wanted to caution you that maybe it's something you would have trouble with if you were breaking whatever rules or regulations concerning that. Just wanted to mention that. But we did already talk about that. Other than that, those are the things I wanted to share, apart from the last thing, which would probably help our German friend, but he's not here. And so, 1014, I'm not exactly so sure how good my strategy will help you, because a lot of it is about staying in the lower bracket and making money there, right? Of course, you could send your money up, and that might help your account there by having AFK accounts make money that way on alts on the lower bracket. But I just want to make you guys aware that there is a fee for utilizing the strategy. I'm not sure if you are aware, but basically it's on the premise that if you make money using my strategy, then you pay me back this amount. And so it's on the conditional guarantee that my strategy works. So in other words, you actually risk nothing. You don't put money up front. And if you make that money, then you pay me. If you don't make that money, then you don't pay me. And so that's basically how it works. And the price that I initially put up was 200 mil, which should be a breeze to be able to get. And it's not currently capped at each account that you use either. So it's just 200 per that. And if you take a bond out and borrow on the bonds, then the bonds would have its own price too. But then that bond would be 10x the price that I paid for it in OSRS GP.
What's happening?
That would be easy to get. But then 2x'd instead of 200 mil for the strategy. So depending on the number of accounts, you would 2x the price that you paid for all the bonds or would owe. But
Instead of the 200
yeah,
total.
You would just 2x the total bond price. Add the bonds.
So like if we get 4 alts and you do 4 bonds, it would be 2 times each bond total. So like if you paid 10 mil per bond, just
10x plus 2x the total. At least that's how I
So-
advised it. Maybe I'll change.
so if it was 10 mil per, you got 4, it's 400 mil, and then times that by 2 at 800, right?
Correct.
Just making sure. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you were kind of getting at there. You said 2, and I was like 10. I was kind of confused.
Yeah. And so the strategy itself is just 200, right? And a lot of
Gotcha.
that, once again, is very much trying to reduce the investment that you have on these accounts while maintaining the ROI that you would get monetarily speaking. So you don't have to put a whole lot of energy into it. And depending on which option out of the 8 that I have right now that you can do, you can basically choose a different niche for how you want to do that. But I will say that it's primarily going to be the function of skilling, because that's something you can predetermine that you will get an outcome on. You're not going to get the crazy RNG of doing combat stuff, but it is more passive as far as that goes. So the more alt accounts you will have, the more money you will make. But with skilling, income is capped, right? So if you were to do that route, then you would basically make money based on the activity, based on the sigils, based on how that would operate. That's all.
Hey, 1014.
Yo,
You say your name was Caleb?
yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, why the fuck am I meeting so many people with the name Caleb online? Beside the point, are you still wanting to stay up and do that raid or no?
Honestly, dude, my eyes about to close, man. It's almost 5 in the morning for me, so I'm probably that's gonna be a no for me because tomorrow I can log in
It's gonna be a no from me, dog.
before the finals. You know what I'm saying? I can hop on and do a couple learner raids for anybody who's interested, because I'm
For
terrible
sure.
at Cobb, but I'm very, very good at Cox and TOA. Like I know plenty of different methods, cheese methods for all that, like Red X, Butterfly, all the 4-to-1s, 5-to-1s, in Ulm. I can
To
teach
be
that
honest with you,
all that
I'm
stuff.
gonna definitely take you up on that. Do you
So for
have
me,
an
it's gonna look a little
estimated
different
time in
because
which
right
you'll be
now
on
it's
tomorrow?
4:21
Right,
a.m.
right.
for me in Germany.
Keep in mind, I don't work the next 2 days, so I'm gonna be off
Yeah,
like all day, pretty much on most of the day. I'll probably sleep like 6 hours each day.
absolutely. Yeah, the only obligations I have at home over the weekend is just family related stuff, so like going out grocery shopping or taking care of my daughter and stuff. But I'd say in like roughly 12 hours. So like for me, 4 in the afternoon. Um, that around that time I'd probably be free again to like run some chambers or run some TOA, whatever you guys are interested in at the time. And I can take off the timers basically. So like it's not going to be a good chance at a purple or anything, but it would be a fun like way of me explaining it and showing it. Or I can stream me doing a solo raid, either 300 expert or a Cox, and just basically show you guys what I do and the methodology, and you guys can kind of just see it and watch.
I'll
And
definitely be down for that. I think what I'm gonna do though in the next few hours is I'm probably gonna watch one video, try to go out there myself, run through it, die as many times as I need just to get kind of the understanding of the rooms down.
yeah,
And then whenever you get back on, I'll definitely have you teach me some more shit. Because
Yeah.
I really, now that I have this set up, I kind of want to go. Because
there's
I've been
only
wanting to. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, there's only a couple challenging aspects to raids, especially like chambers, and the most challenging one by far is definitely just Ulm, like knowing the mechanics and where to move and where to attack, and like how
Right.
the hands function. Like that is by far the most challenging, especially for a solo raid. I don't ever intend on. I don't plan on trying to do solo raids, especially being a part of the clan. Like I would rather have
I
us.
think I have the
focus on our own
basics
thing,
of
but-
Ulm down, to be honest with you, the amount of videos I've watched, but it's mainly the other rooms, because most videos on YouTube don't show the other rooms. They just show
Yeah.
Ulm.
And here's
Like,
the
I
thing.
know there's the melee and the mage, you have to kill them at the same time to be
Yeah.
able, is that to be able to damage Ulm, or is that just in general, you kill them both, then you kill Ulm?
Hey,
So the last
I'd like to jump
phase.
right in real quick. Are we still talking about DMM at all, or not? Should
I'm-
No, my
I was
bad, my bad, my
No.
bad, my bad. We
I
kind of got
was
sidetracked, that's my fault.
I was gonna tie in some DMM with this too as well, just to kind of highlight why we're talking about this as well.
Okay.
Not that anybody asked necessarily why it relates to DMM, but I'm gonna answer it in a DMM focus because that's what we're
Got it.
talking about.
I just want to make sure that
So-
the recording is still valuable for that aspect.
Roger that. I got you. So for example, right, and again, this is part of the whole maxing, going to the max bracket, because the drop rate going to a 4x significantly increases your chances of seeing a purple in the first place. If for whatever reason, there's 3 of us, 4 of us, a normal drop rate on an expert with a 3-man would be like a 12%, right? So 4x that, we're looking at like a 48%, without any sort of modifications or whatever else. We could go higher than that, especially with corrupted weaponry or sigils and such. But just to make people comfortable, we should be training beforehand. And that is the reason my ult's also going to be in the top bracket, as well as to scout raids and also scout PKers at raids. So essentially, I'd be protecting myself, with like, hey, nobody's here. Let's go ahead and get out of this raid right now. Either to keep them in combat and to rag them, which isn't necessarily against the rules. It's just very annoying. But that would be a way of protecting ourselves, because if we are jumping straight to the max bracket, do raids and farm purples and such, there has to be some kind of protection mechanism, because the only dangerous part of raiding is getting caught going into a raid, and mostly getting caught going out of a raid with less supplies, or dying in a raid like TOA and having no gear on you and stuff. So that's kind of my focus, but I did want to tie that back in. So yeah, definitely doing more raids, and also explaining the nuance when it comes to DMM, kind of helping you guys understand the mechanics of where we could run into issues. But that's all I really had.
Yeah, I might practice with you. I just absolutely have like no experience. I mean, I have very little. It's been a while.
Did you guys have any other questions regarding raiding tutorials or DMM
Nope.
stuff related to that?
I'm good, man.
Okay, cool
join
beans.
I mean, I'm not.
I might join you for the raids. I just I have very
Okay.
minimal experience. It's been a long time since I did it, and I
Yeah.
know that I suck.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you care.
I am happy training anybody who wants to be there, and I mean, I'm not a tick perfect. I'm not a cold one. I'm not, but I definitely can get you the fundamentals and help teach you in a way that makes sense, because I had to learn raids the hard way myself at a low combat level with shit gear. So like,
What
know
level were you?
So when I first started doing chambers, I was 96 combat, so roughly like 70s to 80s, and I had very, very bad gear. I'm talking like regular void, not even elite void, regular void, with like
Okay.
a toxic trident, a dragon crossbow. So very, very shit gear. Didn't have rigor, didn't have augury because I couldn't afford it.
Dude, I have
So
all
we're
of
talking
what
like
you just said, bro.
So that's exactly what I am right now.
this is exactly why I'm the perfect teacher, right? Because I know even on my Iron Man now, like 124 combat, like I've earned a lot of the drops that I have, a majority of them, right? Because I mean, it was a group Iron Man for that one, but I did a majority of the raiding myself solos, over 200 to 300 KC for both raids on my group Iron Man. So plenty of experience with solo raiding. And
Okay.
again, it's a lot of it's just muscle memory. So again, if you guys see it and you watch, and I can kind of explain it, explain the movement, explain the tiles, what plugins can assist and help with tracking and monitoring, not just for points, but actually like the puzzles and everything else, like TOA especially. There's a lot of cheese mechanics with certain rooms that people don't attempt to learn, even though it's like a dead giveaway. It's freebie. So for example, red Xing, maybe you guys have heard of it, maybe you haven't, but like there's a mechanic in the Baba room where you can set up something called a red X, which is just essentially a forcing a mechanic
When you
within
press
Baba.
once and you negate the fucking dung balls.
No, not that. That's Scarabus. This is for Baba, so the monkey room.
Yeah, the dung balls.
No, not dung balls. There's no dung balls in the room. It's bananas and boulders.
Whenever he goes to no, but the red X is whenever he goes to the very top and he throws a row of dung balls, you have to shoot the one that's cracked.
So those,
If you-
those are boulders. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Oh,
It's
I thought they
semantics.
were. I thought they were fucking dung balls. I'm not gonna lie, them motherfuckers look like it.
Simply put, basically all you're doing is you're forcing him to use this ground stomp mechanic over and over again. So you're taking 0 damage and you're using a Fang, which is 5 tick. You don't lose any ticks. All you have to do is leave piety on, and as long as you know how to set that up for all 3 stages of the fight, you can take 0 damage and only use prayer. And if you're good enough, you can actually prayer flick during it, but that's like nearly impossible for somebody who's not, on perfect ping and who's used to doing it and has a lot of practice doing it. So I don't care if you guys prayer flick or not. It doesn't matter. It's not going to really increase your chances of a purple or anything. It's just going to make you look cooler and use less prayer points. So it doesn't matter. But yeah, I am more than happy to show. Like I said, Tob is not my cup of tea. Tob is very elitist. Like, it's very hard to find a good team of people to train you and teach you and actually bring you in. So I've only ever done a couple of Tob KC. Funny enough, on my group Ironman, I have the pet, and that's the only drop that I have from Tob. It's just the pet because I spooned it. So people think that I have a lot of Tob experience on my group Ironman. I have 0 Tob experience. I have like 40 KC. So
Okay.
I won't be teaching anybody Tob because I feel like I'm not well suited enough to even like help you guys understand the mechanics. But definitely for Cox, I have around 800 to 1,000 KC on most of my combined on all my accounts. So a lot of experience with that. And then for TOA, it's somewhere in the ballpark of like 300 to 400 expert KC and 200 standard KC. So enough to teach the mechanics and build some confidence at least.
Okay. I would definitely be interested in learning that. Would you recommend I go ahead and get the that 70 defense forehand?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
not necessarily for any specific upgrades. I mean, Aram's robes are always nice to have because that's 70 defense. It gives a magic bonus now, plus 1% on both pieces. So that's kind of nice.
Okay.
If you guys haven't looked into this, generally speaking, the We Do Raids channel, I can try to like steal some of their information sheets, kind of like screenshot some stuff. They have gear setups for all the different raids, and this is
Okay.
actually this is something I used back when I wasn't aware of what to buy and what to use for gear setups, and it gives you a whole rundown of like CM, so challenge mode minimums, rebuild setups, core setups for Cox, and then TOA as well. For you guys, I'd probably just be pushing out the minimum setup, and whatever you can afford above this should be invested in like your stats. It's like prayer scrolls, levels, like fast training for your levels, just to get your account kind of bolstered and grounded.
My problem is that
The minimum requirements.
is I have 50
What's up?
defense, 60 attack. It's not that I have shit gear.
Yes, see that your levels are going to be, you're going to struggle to perform well in a raid with those stats, just because, I mean, obviously it's going to be challenging unless you're doing like a 10 invocation TOA. Then maybe you could flex that and make it work, but like there's no point to doing that really. It's not going to be realistic to get a drop. But
All right, guys. I don't want to interrupt, but I'm gonna be changing voice chats. Just letting you know.
Okay.
Have a good night, guys.
It's been
All right.
All right,
People
man.
I
You
won't
too.
talk to and whatnot.
Peace out.
All right. Yeah, I actually have to get going too, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna be. Rec, are you gonna be doing that with 1014
You got tired of me eating mangoes, huh?
sometime soon?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just
All right.
I just have to know when.
I can post.
All right.
I think I can post in general. I'm not sure if I have privileges. Let me see. Main chat. Let me see. It looks like I can post. So if anything, I'll either DM whoever's on, or if you guys are in the voice chat, I'll go in there. If not, I'll post a message in the chat saying, "Hey, I'm available to teach some
So-
raids."
You would use the
All right.
event ideas to propose something channel, and
Okay.
events above it to officially schedule it. But I would need to give you a specific role so that you could put it into the events calendar, and then all you would do is link those two together, kind of by saying, "Hey, it's here. Here's the calendar," and then have people ping the interested bell. The other parts that
I see. So
can
basically,
potentially be added to that is coordination from inviting people from the actual game chat to participate if they wanted to, and then actually creating a Google Calendar with those events visually to add to the influence of that. And then if you wanted to go even further,
Yeah.
actually creating an actual in-clan, in-game event at this time to have people be notified in the game that we have some sort of event based on these categories. Chambers of Zero, for example.
You know what? For now, I'm probably going to start with just whoever's available because pushing out products and such for.
Doing
Yeah.
it works. So you
I
would
gotcha.
just right now use the events tab, events channel.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I can post some general information in the events tab to show that there's an availability for it, and that way anybody who is interested can at least key in and either DM me or find my username and get a hold of me.
Okay.
Like I said, I play on a multitude of different accounts that aren't even members of the clan, so a lot of times I'm online, but people just don't know I'm online. Like my
Yeah.
hardcore is actually the only account that's a part of the clan, just because of the person restrictions, the amount of people you can have in the clan. But I play a
Okay.
lot on my group Iron Man when my buddies are on, which is my normal rating
wait,
account. And I
wait.
also have
What are the restrictions? How many accounts do you have in the clan?
so I have one account in the clan, right? So 1014 is my dedicated account to the clan. My primary account that I spent the most time on and usually am logged into is either that or my group Iron Man. But for rating purposes, it's definitely going to be my group Iron Man because it has all the gear and stats and everything else for rating. So
Because I'm not even aware I had restrictions. I had recommendations.
no, so when I first joined, it was more so of just like you said, a recommendation of like, hey, I was like, hey, can I have both of my accounts? And you're like, probably not, just because we can't have so many accounts per person in the clan when we need to have openings
we were like
for.
499, 498 members, I imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Which I understand. I'm not complaining about that. I'm just bringing it up as a point so that way people don't think it's like suspect that I'm using a different account. It's like that's my account. It's just not in the clan. So
Got it.
just for awareness purposes. My main account that's not an Iron Man is literally just for PKing. That's just my throw around account that I do group PVM for fun and PKing and wasting money, blowing off all the money that I make on my group Iron Man that I don't want to keep on there.
So yeah, let us
But-
know ahead of time inside of the events. That way
Okay.
we get more people, and we can actually physically see it without losing in game chat and forgetting about it.
Got you. Okay, for sure. Yeah, well, today for me, tomorrow for some people, but today for me, I'll be posting that sometime when I get on.
And
Depending
Okay.
on my personal schedule.
you have permission to use the clan member @ sign. Just don't overdo it, okay?
Okay.
And so you definitely don't recommend regular void.
No, not at all. I mean, it's
Okay.
just because of the fact that again, when you're learning, you're going to be messing up a lot of mechanics. You're going to take a lot of damage, and void only
Yeah.
further increases the amount of damage you're going to take because it's damn near like mithril armor. It's like paper. Basically, it's
Yeah,
barely
yep.
mithril armor, so you're going to suffer a lot, and you're not even going to be able to focus on what's going wrong. You're just going to see yourself
Okay.
dying over and over again and get frustrated. So I'd recommend
All right.
I use, though.
defense. Yeah, no, elite void's like a void and elite
No, I
void
have
is
95
okay. Like,
combat. I can't use it.
well, I mean, just void in general. It's good if you're competent and know what you're doing in a raid. Like, if you're able
Yeah.
to avoid taking damage and understand the mechanics, it's perfectly fine. Like, I use elite void. I mean, like, look at Tob. Like, a majority of the people who do Tob just use elite void because it's good
But-
DPS. But
It's not like
Yeah.
It's not like just sorry. What's the other version of just this year that looks dirty?
you talking about the crush bonus one?
Yeah.
What is that shit called?
Dirty
Nobody even.
Justice. The Dirty Justice
Dirty-
armor. I have that and Ancient God D'hide. And Dagon.
Okay.
It's
Nightwear
not
one?
like I would switch all of those. I would still use Void, right?
Yeah. No, of course, yeah. Void's multifunctional. It's nice to save inventory slots for food, especially when you're learning. That's the only upside that I can think of. But if you're on an account build that's restricted and it's like it's meant to be using Void, it's like a Void Pure, like range mage Void Pure or
It
something.
was originally.
For sure, yeah.
Somebody fucked
Like
it up.
there's people who do chambers that have like 75 combat or like pures and stuff, and they can do it without deaths because they're tracking the mechanics. They understand how the head movement works. They know what all the bosses are and how to, strengths and weaknesses of everything, their equipment, their gear, and all that and such. But there's certain obviously aspects of RNG that you can't avoid. Like if Muddadile is just hitting you 20s to repair constantly, it's going to drain your supplies.
That's
You're going to be
insane.
wasting money for no reason.
Mudded
so-
Owls.
Muddadile. And I mean, it hits through prayer. It uses mage and range and melee, so it's going to hit you through prayer no matter what, regardless of your combat level, your gear. But as a pure, or as a void pure, or as a 70 defense pure, you're just going to get hit for no reason. So I always suggest, Bandos slash Ancestral slash whatever. But if you can only afford ARMs, that's fine. That's kind of the point of doing raids, is to make money
Okay.
and gain experience in the game. So that's the whole point.
Sweet. Sounds good. All right, man. Well, I look forward to doing that with you.
Oh yeah, brother. You can
I
send
will.
me Discord
Go ahead.
friend requests, and my name in game is 10 space 14, all spelled out.
Yeah, I've seen you in game.
Okay, cool beans, cool beans.
Fuck, man.
Okay.
Those
All right,
ants
cool.
are gonna kill
Have a
me.
good night, guys.
Good night.
The what?
The ants, they're after the mangoes.
You as well.
They're gonna kill me.
Oh, shit. Oh, I didn't even notice you were eating them. Damn.
Yeah, I was just eating them the whole time, bro.
Do you have a
Okay.
frog in the background?
What?
I think there was just a frog hopping
Yeah, there
from
Frog.
your window.
I saw it earlier, I laughed. They come in, man. They come in. It's fucking hilarious.
They're invading.
God damn. Have a good night, guys.
Especially on rainy days.
All right, man. I'm gonna head out
Peace.
too, because I'm gonna go sleep
It
and
was a toad.
have time to
actually.
wake up tomorrow and
Totally.
stuff. So,
All right.
all right, y'all.
It's been a
Peace
pleasure.
out. All right, you too. See you.
Thank you for sharing. Clock, I'm gonna end the recording after I wash my hands, man.
Yeah, sure. I think I will head out too. It's like 4:30 a.m. or something.
Absolutely. Let me just tell you though, bro. Just like any other sugar, the more you eat, the less tasty it gets. So I don't know how I'm gonna portion these mangoes. I have 70 of them. 70 mangoes, bro. But I'm probably just gonna eat them as fast as I can because more are gonna drop. So hopefully I enjoy them by the end of the season. We shall see. All right. Have fun, bro.
You're literally the guy from the math books.
From
Just
the math books?
yeah, there are always these crazy text lessons. Like Requiem was buying 70 mangoes.
Wow. That's something to think about. Well, I'm really thankful to have 70 mangoes. You know, I didn't imagine that before. Just picking them up off the ground, like what you would go and pay a fuckload of money for that at a store. You know, this is cool.
That's true.
Very nice. My favorite time of the year when these things drop. It's very good. Continue being well, my friend. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Yep. Yep.
Gooey hand. Gooey hand. I'm gonna have to wipe it down, actually. Okay, so. Let's do that. Oh shit, I'm touching wires already. There we go. So, everything that we talked about today, I'll just kind of overview it real quick. Practicing LMS, practicing wilderness activities. Fuck it, I'm not overviewing shit. I'll scroll a little bit. That's all you'll get. You can't even see it, I'm sure. Alright, I'll overview it. Practicing LMS, practicing wilderness activities, rushing to the higher brackets, why Slayer is advantageous to do, raids, talk, a little bit, pooling money together, and if everybody shows up, using that as an integrity pool, adding in a competitive poll for people who want to play competitive, amongst other things. It was a very valuable chat. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you for being here. Bye now.